Good evening, brothers, sisters, and gender norm resistors. It's that time of the week again to get back into the SS Belland and see what's going on with the Pirates of the Geek Vortex. With me, your host, Ollamh, and the rest of the crew. Hello, hello, hello. Let's go ahead and, let's just go ahead and jump right on into the voice channel and see what these insane people are talking about today, shall we?
And now him and Guy kind of had that,
We're talking about Green Lantern, go away!
Oh, Lord. Why?
oh shit, or we should, yeah, I gotta mute the stream, otherwise I'm gonna be hearing music. I'm gonna hear myself talking to myself, and it's gonna make me insane.
Yeah.
I was
Speaking
gonna
of
say.
subsects of famous groups, yeah, we were just talking about how I found out there are now 3 new Lantern Corps, and I am absolutely pissed off at them.
Okay.
So is that my Mando skeleton? Because I did call the Mando skeleton.
Yes, that is
Thank you.
you on the bike.
Awesome.
Yes, we were just talking about the Ultraviolet Corps, the Gold Lanterns, and the Gray Lantern.
Okay, I have not heard anything about any of these, so...
So apparently the Ultraviolet Corps was introduced, and their whole thing is that they are the hidden spectrum. They are the unseen light. So their whole thing is that they are... Let me see if I can remember. They are ruled by a sentient living galaxy. Because I guess we had to one-up Ego? I don't know. And then the ultraviolet light brings out your repressed emotions. So their oath is like your darkest self. And then, of course, they go after Jon Stewart, because, of course, and they go after Sinestro. And I was telling Sin that Sinestro manages to weasel out of it because he puts on his original Green Lantern uniform and modifies it with, like, I think it was wool or some shit. And it negates the ultraviolet light. It's like, so what was the point?
Oh,
Sinestro, he's a dickhead. That's what that's the whole thing. Is Sinestro's a dickhead.
That's Sinestro's
pretty
concept.
much, yeah.
The Gold Lanterns are the one Lantern Corps that I can safely say me and everybody I know is inevitably locked out of for the rest of our lives. Because Gold Lanterns are people who have never experienced any emotion except pure, unbridled joy and happiness for their entire lives.
Well, good grief, that's not going to negate most people.
Yeah, pretty much. And then they're like, oh, their leader went insane and was imprisoned. I was like, gee, I wonder why.
Yeah.
And then the Gray Lantern, like, I was thinking something awesome, like, like the original Orange Lantern Corps where it was just Larfleeze, because that's what avarice does. You only want one. The Gray Lantern is a man who was sought out by an Indigo Ring to be pressed into service to the Indigo tribe. And then the Ring realized that it's not that he has a repressed emotional spectrum, he has no emotional spectrum. He has never felt any emotion in his entire existence. So when it imprinted on him, he corrupted it into the gray light of apathy.
Okay. I suppose I could kind of see that.
See, that to me that's stupid because, like, same with Gray Jedi. I always thought that's stupid.
Isn't that just Obi-Wan? Well, no, like, we all know what it is now, but when I first heard that, I was like, isn't that just Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon and Mace Windu?
I hate the I hate the term Gray Jedi. Mostly because they're not Jedi.
Yeah.
They're not Jedi. They're neither Jedi nor Sith. They are, I suppose you could say they're gray Force users because they're neither light nor dark side. But it's just kind of, yeah, it's like, that's just the whole gray Jedi thing. It's like, but they're not Jedi.
I mean, how does that actually work? Because, at least to me, that'd be like being true neutral as a Jedi or a Force user. So I saved these burning children from an orphanage. Now I must destroy this old folks' home to even things out. I must kill everyone there.
No, it's not quite like that. Okay, so of course the Jedi try and forego, and they don't want their feelings to affect anything that they do. Whereas the Sith focus on the dark emotions. They focus on hatred. They focus on anger. They focus, I've heard people try and argue that, oh, well, the Sith are the better ones because they will at least acknowledge love. It's like, no, they don't. They have nothing to do with love. They only focus on the dark emotions. They do passion, but not love.
Yeah. So before we get too far into this, hello gamers, and also I'm going to let Torin say hello to him for himself. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, how are you guys doing tonight?
Pretty good.
That's good. I'm
But
just
yeah.
listening in on the conversation.
But
right
yeah,
now.
that's where the gray Jedi come in, because they are the gray Force users, because they acknowledge emotions. They realize that you can't just cut yourself off from all emotions. That's not good for anybody. But you can't just focus on the negative emotions either. You have to.
I feel like we didn't even really need to give them a name, just because that's just common sense.
Yeah,
Common
but
sense
everybody has to have a specific designation of some sort. That's just how a lot of the Star Wars people are. You have to have some sort of designation.
My thoughts are: give me a powered suit of Beskar. Fuck the Jedi and the Sith.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the attitude of the quote unquote gray Jedi. I mean that's Ahsoka after she left the Jedi Order. That's what she became. It was she's not adhering to the strict rules of the Jedi, but she's not focusing on the dark side like the Sith. So she's just kind of somewhere in the middle.
What suits my needs today?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, honestly, they make the most amount of sense. Because it's like, look, we're not going in for anybody's, we're not partaking of anybody's Kool-Aid.
We are not cloistering ourselves in a temple and declaring celibacy, but neither are we murdering younglings. Just leave us alone, please.
Yeah, we're just trying to make the world a better. We're just trying to make the universe a better place as best we can, without saying we're perfect.
I'm trying to make the world a peaceful place by stabbing you one at a time. Just leave me alone.
But there's two other Jedis there. You and you. Stop it.
I'm still going with this Jar Jar was a Sith theory because it's hilarious and it makes
I
absolute
would
sense.
love to see that.
I don't think it makes a lot of sense personally. But.
I heard an amazing theory that Deadpool is really Van Wilder.
Okay.
I mean, technically true.
Because there's a scene in Van Wilder, which I've actually never seen, and I need to actually watch it because I'm a fan of Ryan Reynolds, where he talks about getting hit by a truck, but he's okay. So when he went into, basically the theory is Van Wilder went into contract wet work, was given powers, and he changed his name to something kind of bland and normal. That's the theory.
Yeah, but I
What's
think
more
Wade
bland
Wilson stands out a little bit more in the Marvel Universe than Van Wilder.
Well, yeah, but Wade is a pretty normal name, and so is Wilson.
Yeah.
I mean, true. But then again, you also have assholes running around with names like Victor Von Doom.
Yeah, and everybody's amazed when he turns out to be evil.
Yeah, everyone's like, he's a nice guy. We can trust him.
So the funny thing is, when my family came to the States, we dropped the Vaughn part.
I mean, that's kind of a common thing, really. Most people most families, when they came to the U.S., they dropped at least some part of their original name, and it's like, yeah, we don't want to stand out that much. We've seen what happens to people when they stand out. We don't want to stand out.
I just find it amusing because my last name's in real life is generally hard enough to say without adding Vaughn in front of it, which would totally confuse people. So my last name is Seidlitz, and I don't care if you know because you don't know my first name. But my family actually has, if you look it up, there was a World War II or World War I German, it was a pocket destroyer is what they called it. Huge ship, kind of like the Bismarck, named after my family. Yeah, I don't know why it was called that. It was a capital ship, though.
Okay. Huh.
Yep, named after my family.
So yeah, okay. So to actually get on to topic, so yeah, the sub-sects of different things. This is something that actually I thought of when I was last night when I was talking with Sin during the stream. And it was just one of those things where it's like, okay, so, there's a lot of really whacked out groups, like, and one of the big ones that they're going to be touching on is, the Children of the Watch for the Mandalorian, especially for season 3, because it's like, Din Djarin is going to have to deal with trying to get back into his armor's favor by becoming a true Mandalorian again. And you wonder, and I can't help but wonder, well, number one, how is that going to affect him? How's that going to change him? What's he going to see that's really going to change his opinion on things? But
so
also,
one of the things I know that will change as far as for the next season, there'll be much less Grogu.
Really?
Yes. He will be too busy to babysit, basically.
But that's the thing. That's kind of what I think is going to really open his eyes to how things are with how the true Mandalorians are. Is he's going to be teaching Grogu the ways of the Mandalorian, because Grogu chose to be a foundling rather than be a Jedi. So he has chosen to be a Mandalorian.
So rumor also has it that they're going to make Din Force sensitive. He's going to be the first Mandalorian that can use canon, or however you want to look at it, or whatever, that can use the Force.
Well, second. Because the Mandalorian who created the Darksaber, that is canon. A Mandalorian created the Darksaber. That's why it is, whoever holds this rules the Mandalorians. But he was Force sensitive. He had one foot in both worlds. That's why I think if they go forward with that, that's probably why they're going to do that, is so that it's kind of like, okay, this is, Din Djarin is kind of going towards that, kind of starting there, and I think Grogu's really going to encompass that. He's really going to be this is the joining of the two paths again. But my question is, as far as the other, like the Night Owls or and the other groups of Mandalorians that they don't mind taking their helmets off. Where did they get their armor? Who makes their weapons? Because the armor isn't going to touch
They have armors. So she's just one armorer, and she happens to be of that particular subsect of Mandalorians, the Children of the Watch. There are they're going to be, I mean, it would be impossible to think that she made armor for every Mandalorian, because the one that's actually played by Jon Favreau, he's in the blue armor. I can't think of the character's name. You know which one I'm talking about, because there's only, besides Boba, there's only been, and not any of Bo-Katan's Mandalorians.
Okay.
He was one of the ones that was from season 1. He's a bigger guy, and he's the one with basically the minigun.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, I don't know.
So he's actually from another sect. He got accepted into the Children of the Watch.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually in the armor. That's Jon Favreau.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of questions as far as, you know, what they're gonna do with a lot of that, because it's like a lot of this is it almost feels like they're painting themselves into a bit of a corner with everything. Because it's like, how long does Grogu have after saying, yes, I want to be I'm choosing to be a Mandalorian, when does he have to start wearing a helmet? Well, and how are they going to make it one of their helmets that fits his damn ears? That's going to be that's going to hurt.
Maul is, I cannot remember the name of Maul's race, but he's not the only one.
No, yeah, there's a lot of them.
Yes, I can't think what the hell they're called, but there are some of them that are they were raised as foundlings, and they have helmets.
Yeah, but they don't have ears that stick out twice the width of their head.
Maul is a Dathmorian Zabrak.
Zabrak, thank you. Yes. So, but what they do have is they have holes in their helmet so their horns can stick out.
Okay. So in theory they can make, they can make big old holes for his ears.
Either that, or what they'll do, this is going to sound stupid, but have you ever seen the cartoon Biker Mice from Mars?
Yes. Yes, I have.
So I think they may make it kind of like their helmets were shaped, except for with the mailbox, the postal box or Roman slit on the front.
Okay, yeah. That would make sense. That would make sense. But yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, it's one of those things that it's just kind of like, how the hell are you gonna do this? Personally, I think, my gut reaction would be that Din Djarin is going to find out that, okay, well, the whole, never show your face is not a true precept of Mandalore. It's because he's about to find out a whole lot more about that planet than most of the people even in the Children of the Watch, because they never took their helmets off, so they never had to go through this rite of passage to get to become Mandalorian again.
So what I think about all that is, I think that it's not going to happen. And the reason why I think it's not going to happen is because the way Pedro Pascal has been behaving lately, there's a good chance he's not going to be. So unless they're going to, and Karl Urban has no problem wearing the helmet. He's perfectly fine with it.
Yeah.
So I think that what's going to end up being is, he's going to keep the helmet on all the time. It's going to be Karl Urban using an American accent, and it'll go from there.
I
And he won't take the helmet off.
I could see that. I could see that. I don't know how well that will go over with. I don't know how well that'll go over necessarily with fans. But I could see that. I could see that working. But my point is that whether he goes on to whether he's replaced or not, I think it will come down to the point where there's a realization. Din Djarin winds up with the realization that, look, what I was told originally is not the truth. It's just not. These people made up a whole lot of extra rules that were never actually part of proper Mandalorian, the proper Mandalorian way.
Why is Pedro Pascal being replaced anyway?
Because he's okay. So I'm just going to tell you what I've heard. I'm not even going to interject how I feel in regards to it. He has been complaining a lot about screen time without the helmet on. He doesn't want to wear the helmet, and so he's making the people who sign his paychecks very upset, because when you sign on for something and you're told, hey, this is the way things are going to be, you're going to play this type of character.
Yeah.
And
that makes sense.
Yeah. So yes, so he's been fussing. He was supposed to be, so Bo-Katan will get her own show like The Mandalorian. I don't know what the hell they're going to call it, but she'll get her own show. Pedro was supposed to be on it. He had, and he didn't have much screen time because it's not his show.
Yeah.
The Mandalorian is his show. So he was complaining about that. And then the screen time that he was going to have, he wanted to have without the helmet on. And they said no.
It sounds to me like he's letting his Last of Us thing get to his head, and now he wants more airtime and everything.
Well, I'm perfectly happy with them firing him because 99.9% of the time when Mando's in the helmet, all Pedro is doing is voicing the character.
Yeah, I know. You told me this before.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like he's kind of got to be careful not to bitch and moan too much.
Yeah, it could screw him over in Hollywood for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's not even so much that he's earned the chance, or whatever, however you want to look at it, to go down in history. Think of how famous Harrison Ford is. Think of how famous Carrie Fisher was. Think of how famous Anthony Daniels. All the original cast. He's been given a chance to go essentially down in history, even though it's cinema history, but it's still history, as one, as a beloved character that could live on longer than he does. But instead, he would rather piss and moan about wearing a bucket on his head. Think about David Prowse. What would happen in Star Wars if David Prowse, didn't want to wear the Vader helmet?
Did you guys ever see the original? The original film footage of A New Hope, where David Prowse was doing the voiceover of Darth Vader. It's so bad. It's so bad. You wouldn't tell me where the.
Yes, because he's super prim. He's got a super prim, British accent.
Oh, it's so funny.
Yeah, it is. It's terrible. And it took
so
James Earl Jones. No. It would be the only way they could have made him menacing if he'd said, "We are the knights that say nah."
Even then.
I mean, I think maybe if it was a different British actor, at least a different British guy, they could have done it, because there are quite a few, British actors who play British gangsters who can pull off that polite but very, very menacing.
Well, I think they did. I think they did a perfect job by casting James Earl Jones.
Oh, hell yes, definitely.
I will say I don't know how to feel about I don't know how to feel about how they credit things in in the Book of Boba Fett, when they had the Luke Skywalker. The re-speech is the company that does it. They're the same people that are doing Darth Vader to make it sound like the old school James Earl Jones. It's, they're putting, oh hey, it's James Earl Jones as Darth Vader, but it's not really. It's actually is a company doing a called Re-speecher, I think it is, Re-speech or Re-speecher, that's actually basically kind of reworking the recorded audio to sound like James Earl Jones, because, well, James Earl Jones just can't sound like that anymore. He does not have that crisp, clean, clear, booming voice anymore. It's more gravelly. He's older.
They could have actually done that anyhow and just said, for the, if you're talking about for the, the voiceovers for Obi-Wan, they really could have done that and then just played it off as if there is Vocaloid or vocoder, whatever you want to call it,
but
hadn't been adjusted.
But that's the thing. That's the thing that gets me, is they credit him as James Earl Jones as the voice of Darth Vader, but he had nothing to do with it.
So as long as he got a paycheck, I'm sure he doesn't give a shit.
That's the problem, though. I don't know if he got a paycheck, because he literally had nothing to do with it. It's like Mark Hamill in the Book of Boba Fett. Mark Hamill had nothing to do with that entire production. They invited him there, but he didn't do any of the. He really didn't do any of the motion capture. He didn't do any of the voice, but he's credited as being the voice of that. It's like,
well, he couldn't really do the motion capture anymore. He's old and fat.
Well, but my point is they credit these people. They are making money off of these people's. Basically, these people's name recognition. So they are making money off of the voice recognition and the name recognition of James Earl Jones, even though he didn't have anything to do with it. I want to know, did they get paid? Did James Earl Jones get a paycheck for that? He should have. If they're going to credit him, they should pay him. Well,
I don't know about James Earl Jones, but I'm guessing that something probably in Mark Hamill's contracts for Force Awakens, whatever the fuck the last one was. I didn't watch it because
Rise of Skywalker.
I'm guessing that there was something where they paid him, or it was in his contract. Hey, we're going to use your likeness, and he was,
That's the problem, though, Sin, that they don't. That is not part of it. The only part of the contract that they have towards that, and they're doing this with everybody that Disney has through, is that we're going to do a 3D scan of your entire face and body. And we own the rights to that 3D model. That's what a lot of companies have been doing lately. Is they have been doing 3D scans of... we're talking like extras that have no lines whatsoever. They're still doing a 3D scan and getting a 3D model of these individuals. And they're saying, okay, you're signing over the right to your likeness as far as this 3D model.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's skeezy as hell and wrong as hell, and it's just like, yeah, and you know, the fact that they're starting to do that with voices, they're potentially doing that with voices too. It's like, how much longer before, you know, well, they can remake Star Wars all they want using the original cast because, well, they have the 3D models, they have the ability to make them sound like the younger cast. And hey, you wanna know what happened between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back? Fine, we'll make a full-length movie for you.
As a fan, I think that would be cool. But as you know, a person who's thinking in regards to it, that's crazy and kind of scary. It's like, oh, you don't want to? Well, we have this 3D model of you. We'll just show it murdering this person.
Well,
and with the effect, you know, as good as they are, a lot of people would, you know, have a hard time proving it.
Well, thankfully there are a lot of people that are looking in that are able to point out when it's a deep fake and when it's bullshit versus when it's real. But as far as movies and stuff, I mean, hell, it was what 5-10 years ago that they were going to make a brand new James Dean movie. Because they were able to take all the photographs and all the footage of everything he's ever done and create a realistic looking 3D model of James Dean. And they're like, hey, here's somebody that we can throw into a movie and we don't have to pay. We have a lead that will draw attention, that will bring people in, and we don't have to pay anybody. That's one of those things where it's like, I mean, as far as the Pedro Pascal thing, they may not need Carl Urban. If they already had got him to sign the right contracts, they could be like, yep, you're out. We're just gonna we're gonna get somebody who sounds close enough to like you that we can use the re-speech team, and we can make you say whatever the fuck we want. We don't have to pay you. And, you know, your character never takes their helmet off again. But from there, to get back on topic here, let's switch from Star Wars to Star Trek, because there is one subsect that from actually a couple, but one in particular that I always I always was a little leery of, but I always wanted to, and I want to know the other opinions on this. In the Federation, there is a subsection called, well, Section 31. These are the boogeymen. These are they're kind of the NSA. These are the people that nobody really knows that much about, that actually wield a hell of a lot of power.
I unfortunately cannot comment because I know absolutely nothing about them.
Nor do I.
Really?
Yep.
Well, these are the people. Now, the name Section 31 comes from a certain section of the agreement, the United Federation of Planets agreement, I think it was, or it may be Starfleet agreement, or whole big thing. Basically, they are there to safeguard the Federation and Starfleet. That's what's basically the gist of what Section 31 in the Charter says, and that's why they are called Section 31. These are, like I said, these are the boogeymen. These are the people who were. This is the section that was part of the Federation that was researching cloaking devices, researching cloaking tech, even though it was outlawed. These are the people who, in Deep Space Nine, created this virus that would wipe out all the changelings and gave it to Odo. That was their plan to get rid of to end the Dominion War, was to infect Odo with this virus that would kill all changelings, and then when he melded with others, he'd pass it on.
I always liked Odo.
Yeah, I did too. Most people did, and basically they actually had to kidnap and go into the brain of a Section 31 agent to find the cure for that virus. But yeah, I guess I'm kind of surprised that nobody else has heard about this, because it's like they are pretty prevalent in, I think the only one, I don't know if they're in the original series, but I know they are in, like, from Next Generation on. They're the ones that have their Starfleet insignia is just a black shield. It has no extra engraving on it. It is just pitch black.
You know what? I'm surprised Gamer doesn't know about it. Gamer's knows Star Trek.
Well, I may have seen them in the Next Generation or something, but I cannot stand modern Trek. I don't even watch it. To me, it's disgusting. I can't stand it. I can't get into it. I can't get into it at all.
See, I liked the Next Generation because they had my favorite race on the board. You know, they had a Klingon.
Yeah. I'm not talking about that. That to me is not modern Trek. I'm talking about like Discovery and Picard. I can't stand those shows. To me, they're horrible.
Yeah, I really agree with I agree fully with Discovery. I don't know enough about.
Is that the one with Scott Bakula?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
No. Discovery is not Bakula.
No,
it's
okay.
Enterprise is Bakula.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that was actually the first time that they show that was I think that was one of that was one that the precursor to Section 31 was there. They were the ones that actually helped the Klingons kidnap Dr. Phlox to try and cure the Klingon augment problem.
I also I tuned into, I don't know if you guys watch the show, but I tuned into the new season of The Orville, which just started this week.
Yesterday.
And yeah, so I don't like what they've done with it. I really don't. They've it's lost its humor. There is barely any humor in it anymore. He's making it too much like the Next Generation now. Like, I mean, I know that's what he was initially going for, but now he's kind of like gone all Next Generation on it. The Orville now has like this new ship that's like basically like the Defiant, and it's like attached to the Orville, and it's called like the Pterodon. And it's just like, oh my god, you're just like stealing from DS9 and Voyager and Next Generation now, and there's no more humor. There's no more humor. The humor is just gone. Like this episode.
Who makes the show? Who makes the show?
Seth MacFarlane.
No, not Seth MacFarlane. I mean, what network is behind it?
Now Hulu.
Who was behind it before?
20th Century Fox.
Okay, I was just curious because I was figuring, I was thinking maybe it was, who owns Star Trek now? Is it Paramount still, or?
It's CBS.
Okay, so I thought maybe that it was still all kind of tied together, and so.
No.
I thought it was the same channel, so they kind of were okay with aping ideas.
No, it's totally different. I mean, so this episode, if you don't mind some spoilers, I don't know if you guys watch the show or not.
I don't watch it, but
are you guys okay with me saying?
Go right ahead.
I'm fine.
Okay, so do you know the character Isaac? Do you remember? He's like the robot on the show. He commits suicide, and they kind of kill him off of the show, and it's just. It's so the episode was so stupid. I'm just like, okay. So basically, it continued on from where the previous season ended, where the Kalon, which are basically the Borg, it's kind of obvious, infiltrate the whatever their federation is. I don't even know what they're called. But I really don't know what. I think they literally just call it the Federation. And the Kaylon infiltrate the Federation, and they board the Orville, and they kill half the crew, and then Isaac. This is in season 2, final episode, and then Isaac saved the crew, by going against the Kaylon, which he's a part of. Like, he's a Kaylon himself. And then so season 3 opens up, and everybody hates Isaac. The only people who don't hate him are the main crew, like, Seth MacFarlane's character and like the main crew. But all these secondary characters that they've wrote into the show that were not in the previous season, they all hate him and they want him to kill himself. So he's like, well, fine. You know what? You want me to kill myself? I'll just kill myself. And then so that's what he does. He ends up committing suicide, and then the main crew are like, what the fuck? Why did he do that? And then there's like this big investigation into it. And I'm just like, okay, it feels stupid to me. It's like...
Well, I think you're missing a few things there. The Kaylon are not the Borg. They are not like the Borg.
No. I'm not saying they're like the Borg. Let me
explain. Let me explain and fill in for anybody that's hearing this. They send out individual members, which Isaac was supposed to be for the humans sectors. They live among them, they research them, determine whether or not they're a threat. If they are a threat, that threat is then full scale just eliminated from the universe.
Yeah, I know.
That was Isaac's whole mission. That's why everybody that didn't have a close connection with him hates him, because they see this. You're the motherfucker who brought these people here to murder every single living human being.
But he didn't, though.
He was the one that reported back to the Kaylon. He continually reported back to the Kaylon. They didn't succeed in their genocide, but he was the one that brought them to that point.
I think you're missing something. That's not why the Kaylon attacked. That is absolutely not why the Kaylon attacked. Do you remember the episode where Isaac falls ill or something, and they take him to the Kaylon's homeworld, and while there, they find that the Kaylon have murdered thousands of humans and dumped them down some fucking giant-ass well thing. And that is why the Kaylon go after them. Because the Kaylon realize, oh shit, now the humans found out that we're going around murdering other humans. And that was when the attack happened. It had nothing to do with Isaac. It really didn't. I know Isaac reported back to them, but that's not why that war happened. The war happened because when they landed on the Kaylon homeworld, they found all of these humans had been like viciously murdered by the Kaylon, and they're like, what the shit?
The Kaylon the Kaylon were a genocidal race. Unlike the Borg, who absorbed everybody and just said, you're going to be part of us. It was, no, you're dead. You're all going to die. It was genocide. I think I described it the wrong way. When I was saying the Kaylon are like the Borg, I meant in the sense that, they have these giant ass ships that just come out in full force and just start blowing the other ships away. That's what I meant. But yeah, I'm thinking more like First Contact Borg more than anything. I mean, the Borg from the very beginning were we are going to assimilate you.
Yeah.
And the Kaylon we are going to exterminate you. They are more like Daleks than Borg.
Yeah, okay.
They don't want anybody other than
space Nazis.
Yeah. I mean, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
But that's why, I mean, the bridge crew, the main bridge crew, and the people that from previous seasons had a connection with Isaac already. They saw him do good. They were the ones that actually knew that he had broken away from the Kaylon Collective and was no. when it came to the kids that he had personally connected with, he's like, no, I'm not going to let you kill them.
Yeah. I think my biggest issue with the newest season, how it starts out, is you get introduced to these new crew members, these new actors on the show, but that's how you're introduced to them. You're introduced to them through their malice and hatred towards Isaac and how they want him dead. And it's like, well, that's not a good way to introduce new actors to your show.
I don't know.
Because then all the fans start to hate them.
So every time you say Isaac, I'm thinking of the bartender from the Love Boat running around murdering people.
No.
That's running through my head. Fro, bow tie, red vest, white shirt.
No, see,
Isaac the bartender.
See, my big thing with the idea of the new crew members having malice, especially towards Isaac, is this is the rest of humanity's view of the Klingons.
Yeah.
This is what they see. It's kind of pulling, it's doing something that Star Trek actually never really did. In their showing, they did it a little bit with Deep Space Nine. Sisko hated Picard.
Yeah, I know. I remember.
Because his wife died because Picard was assimilated by the Borg.
Yeah,
that was look, not everybody is just dearly in love with the main cast of The Next Generation. There are legitimate reasons why people hate some of these characters.
It's true.
And I think that's kind of what they're doing, and that's something that Seth Meyers never really shied away from, is saying, look, you have to, you have spent two seasons with these characters. There are people in this universe that have not. And there are people that are really kind of, they don't know the details of all their missions together. They don't know all the stuff that Isaac's done.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're gonna be like, no, what the fuck are you even? Why are you even still on the bridge? Why are you even here?
It has a moral at the end. So basically, what ends up happening is they find a way to bring back Isaac, but it's up to the crew member. They end up using one of the crew members who hated Isaac and wanted him dead. They ended up using her abilities, and Seth's basically like, I get it. I know why you hate him. He killed one of your best friends. Well, not technically him. It was, like the Klingon murdered one of her best friends. And he's like, I know it's hard. You have to pick between your friend who's dead, and those memories, and helping essentially a mortal enemy come back to life. But he's like, I'm just asking you to do it as a human being. Just and it was a really good. It ended up being a really good episode, but it was just, I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess the intro to it and everything that started the episode really made me dislike a lot of the new actors on it.
And I can understand that. I think, like I said, I think it's one of those situations where you have to realize that you are looking at it from somebody from somebody who doesn't know anything about what happened.
Yeah.
And that's where it kind of, it's kind of difficult for people to adjust to that.
I will say this though, if I had a choice between the newest Star Treks or the Orville, I would pick the Orville any day of the week, because I feel like the writing on that is more akin to Star Trek: The Next Generation, and the modern day writing on the new Star Treks is just really not there.
So you want to hear something stupid?
Okay.
So do you know what the Klingon language, instead of just being called Klingon, is Klingonese?
Yep.
That's stupid.
Yeah, it
should just be Klingon.
Yeah.
I noticed that, like, when I was playing the new Lego Star Wars, they when the Jawas speak, they have like this the subtitles at the bottom of the game screen.
Oh, that's cool.
They call it Jawanese, and I'm like, what? Is that the actual term? Jawanese?
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I can tell you what the Jawa look like under their hoods.
Yeah, I already know.
Look like little rat bastards with glowing yellow eyes, and they're cannibals.
Yeah, I know. I've seen what they look like. There were some blueprints that leaked on the internet not that long ago, or not. I guess concept art, not blueprints. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's what we're really looking at as far as what we're looking at as far as the Orville in particular. It's like, I think that's kind of where they're going for this particular season, it sounds like.
They're definitely sticking to next generation DS9 style roots, even going so far as hiring some of the original DS9 and next generation writers. Like, I mean, last season they had Jonathan Frakes directing quite a few episodes, and then they have Marina Sirtis on as the ship's not as the ship's counselor. Sorry, she's the teacher. So she plays the teacher on board the Orville for the students.
Okay.
And she's a regular now on it too.
Yeah, we've been getting a shit ton of new stuff lately. It's like, I mean,
Yep.
hell, we've got we're 3 episodes into Obi-Wan Kenobi. We've got the that's on Wednesdays. We've got the Orville on Thursdays. We've got The Boys on Friday. Jesus.
Sci-fi's making a huge comeback, and that's about time.
It's just they're clumping everything together. It's like, wow, guys, everybody will get along better if you space it out a bit.
That's true.
I mean, I guess it's not that bad if you're like, oh, hey, I want something new to watch on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. If you're a fan of Obi-Wan Kenobi, Orville, and The Boys, shit, you're pretty much set for almost half the week.
Now, the other thing that's new when they switched to Hulu with so the reason Seth switched from Fox to Hulu is it was a joint decision between Fox and Seth. And Fox always treated Seth with respect. Like, I mean, they were the ones they were the reason for Family Guy and the Cleveland Show and all that stuff. But Seth was like, well, these guys have offered me a massive budget for the Orville, and so I can bring in some amazing effects for season 3. And they also gave him an hour for the show instead of half an hour, which is what Fox gave him. And that's really his decision for going over to Hulu, was the extra hour and the fact that he was able to have a massive budget for special effects. And it shows. I mean, the first episode alone of season 3 had insane special effects. It was really good.
Yeah.
So when you say insane special effects, I pictured clowns on rockets flying around the Orville.
It's an insane special effects, not drunk special effects.
I'm sober, smartass.
Hallucinogens.
I was gonna say, come on, now let's be fair here. Let's be fair. I am more often than not, I am drunk more often than Sin is. So I mean, come on,
I'm just messing with him. I'm not being serious.
But every time you give me shit, it's about the same thing. So
I don't know anything else about you other than
I've talked to you at length for hours upon hours, man, and you know nothing else about me.
I mean, come on, if you don't know anything else about him, just make some shit up.
I mean, the worst shit I ever give you, gamers, is Canadian. Oh my God, that's so terrible. You have nationalized healthcare. Your flag has a fucking leaf on it.
Your money was
the worst
fucking
thing I
awesome.
ever give you. I give you
money's
shit
awesome?
about it.
Did you say my money's awesome?
Yes, Canadian money is awesome.
In what way?
Isn't it plastic or some shit?
Yeah, it's plastic coated. It's fucking waterproof and colorful and shit.
And apparently, most Americans think it smells like maple syrup. I'm just like, I don't know about that. I've never smelled maple syrup on the bills, but and it is multicolored bills as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's very colorful. It is very colorful. I mean, ours is
Dull
paper.
paper.
I mean, it
destroys itself at the merest hint of moisture.
Oh my god!
Yes, but greenbacks. That sounds cool, at least.
Okay, which would you rather say though, greenbacks or I have a fucking rainbow in my pocket?
Greenbacks. I'm not a real big fan of rainbows.
See, yeah, I don't know. I mean, greenbacks just sounds a bit more gruff. What? Okay,
Well, it also sounds
Shelby.
like you're running around with an orc in your pocket.
Now, see, Shelby has a very good question. Why isn't all money waterproof?
Yeah, it is a good question.
Because Americans are stupid.
I mean, we're not the only ones that don't have waterproof money.
I know that.
Well,
Canadian,
yeah, but I mean, we're the ones with the closest neighbor that has it, and we're like, why haven't we adopted this yet?
Yeah, I know that Canada.
Because it's bad for the environment.
As opposed to killing everything that's required to make our... Okay.
I mean, yeah, it's weird. You would think that everybody else would be like, oh hey, look, their money doesn't like turn into a puddle of goo when it with a certain amount of humidity or liquid it touches it.
Yeah, but think of all the innocent strippers that might be cut by the sharp edges on that plastic. We just couldn't have
You know
that.
what? They knew the risks of the job when they took it. They already have to face razor burn.
Think about the number of strippers that lost their tips if they got excited.
In fairness,
true.
In fairness, our money is waterproof, so that's a plus for the strippers.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like
You're not supposed to insert the money into them.
No, but you put them you put it in their G-strings. They get excited, especially
Exactly.
I mean, some of the women get very easily excited, and next thing you know, all their tips are all the tips that you just handed them are down the drain. I mean, it's useless.
Exactly. This is
Speaking of paper cuts, all I can think of is that strip club that used to be famous because they had an ATM in the ceiling, and you could tip them online, and it would literally fire the money down onto the strippers.
Okay, that's weird.
That's a pretty cool idea.
I mean, I'm sure it was awesome, but I'm like, those poor girls.
I mean,
Sorry, Shelby, I don't know any strippers. I gave money to several of them, but I don't know any of them.
See, I have had good friends that have worked at strip clubs, and it's like just kind of like. I mean, most of them complain that a lot of guys seem to think that, hey, if they tip you $1, they expect the world. They expect you to pretty much blow them right then and there on the stage. So it's like,
I mean, that's at least a 50.
Oh, well, that's a lot more than 50 at the strip club.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Used to go to this place called I think it was called Crazy Earls. It was a BYOB place.
Didn't he also own a car lot and a television factory and an electronics store?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. That's Crazy Eddie's.
There's a lot of crazy assholes with stores, okay? I love the fact they brought that up as a point in The Accountant, because it was like, oh my god, that is such a deep cut.
Some of the BYOB places aren't bad. I mean, the couple that I've been to, my biggest problem at the time was they did not allow you to bring. You couldn't do hard liquor. I don't drink beer. at the time, that was all you could. That was pretty much all you could buy in like cans was beer. Cans and stuff was beer. It's like I don't drink beer. Fuck.
You could have drank Zima.
No, I know. That was my first introduction to beer was Zima, and I'm like, oh no. Then it was Ice House. I'm like, oh gods, why?
So the stupid thing is that all Zima is White Claw with even less flavor and is shittier. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I bought a 12-pack of White Claw one time. He's like, because I see like all these YouTubers that I like, and they're always drinking White Claw. So that maybe that shit's pretty good. Fuck no.
I mean,
it tastes like
White Claw.
It
isn't horrible. It isn't horrible.
Oh, yes, it is.
I mean, it's. I don't find it horrible. It's not. It's not enjoyable. It's not enjoyable. It's drinkable. It is drinkable, but that's about all you can do. I mean, most hard seltzers, unless you get like this. I mean, okay, I will drink Truly Lemonade, the Truly Lemonade stuff, because it has not only the lemonade, but it also has like, like strawberry or watermelon or black cherry flavors to it, and that it has two different it has two different complementary flavors. Now, if you just get like just the straight Truly, like acai berries or black cherry or something, that stuff, it always tastes tinny to me.
So I don't like any of the seltzers because what it reminds me of, I used to work in a convenience store. It reminds me of when the fountains were running out of syrup. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's all it tastes like. It reminds me of the one time I bought a bottle of Perrier because I'd never had it before. I thought, let's see what this stuff's like. I see it on TV. Fuck, it was horrible.
Oh, yeah.
I love how Shelby's giving us all really good life advice.
Yeah.
So I would go rum, vodka, and then it just depends.
I mean, yeah, vodka, gin, some wines. I've only found one or two wines that I really like, but they're they are just a really good fruit flavored type wines.
So I think the only time I've ever had wine is like sangria, and oh my god, that was fucking horrible. And I got one of those big ass gallon jugs of it.
Oh god,
they used to have the Asti Spumante shit. And I thought, okay, this shit's horrible. I'll put it in the fridge. Maybe it tastes better when it's cold. It tastes worse when it's cold.
Yes.
How is that fucking possible?
They use shit wine. They use shit red wine. They throw a bunch of like fruit flavors, not fruit, into it. A proper sangria should be a good red wine with a bunch of fruit added into it. Let it set for a while, chilled, and then drink it. It is supposed to be a summertime refreshing drink. But if you start with a shit base and add fruit flavoring into it, I mean, we all know that fruit flavoring is crap. At least we should. I think we should. It's it's not good. It's not good. It's kind of like a cherry flavored versus cherries. Cherry flavor compared to a cherry is garbage.
Okay, I have a question for everybody. You had to pick one non-human race to be, what would you want to be?
Ooh. Oh no, I think I know, but it's gonna piss people off. So I'm gonna let others answer first. Then I'm gonna
answer last. I'm gonna answer last because it's my question.
Well, by the rules that we've established before, actually you should be the first or second.
That's okay. It's my question, so I'm going to answer last, and that's just the way it's going to be. Yeah.
I think me and gamers are refusing to answer. So even if you answer last, you're still answering first.
No, see, okay, I fine. I'll answer. I'll own up. If I would be a member of the Q Continuum. Fuck y'all. That shit would be fun as fuck.
Wait, the Q proper or the Renegade Q?
Either or. As long as I don't fuck up too much, they ain't gonna fucking care. They only came after John Delancey's Q because he fucked up too many times.
Well, to be fair, I mean, once you realize that one guy can outsmart you at least twice, maybe stop fucking with him.
Yeah, but he always had a soft spot for Picard. Come on.
So is the Q's abilities, my question in regards to that is the Q just reality warping or magic?
They are, I suppose you would say they are reality warping. They
Okay.
can change, yes, they can change
But it's-
reality to a certain extent.
What's that quote? Any sufficiently advanced science is indistinguishable from magic.
Good point.
No, but
Very
no.
good.
So there's a reason why I asked the question that I asked.
No,
Got
it's
clarification.
Yeah.
Because I'd be Kryptonian.
Oh, so you're thinking that you'd be safe from the Q by being Kryptonian.
Well, you couldn't really hurt him
Well, you could
because
when
the only thing that can really hurt Superman besides kryptonite is magic.
when you can change the atomic makeup of something.
Yeah, they could just turn your
You can
entire body
turn
into
pretty
kryptonite.
much anything. I could turn your clothing into kryptonite.
Aha! Like a lot of good that would be because I'd be naked Superman.
I said they could turn your entire body into kryptonite.
Yeah, I'll turn your bones into kryptonite. It's a matter of moving atoms. It's
So
not
then-
magic. It is scientific. I can change if I can add and remove electrons.
Wouldn't that have to be site based?
No.
You know what? I'm not entirely sure how if there is a specific closeness that you have to be as far as the Q to affect things. Because every time you see them change something, they are in the relatively immediate vicinity.
Because think about it this way. So, sure. So you have to be able to see it. As a Kryptonian, you could be on one inside of the end of the galaxy, just any galaxy, and pretty much in the blink of an eye be on the other end of the galaxy.
But see, that's the thing. You don't actually have to be able to see it. It's not sight-based, but it is, the only time you see the Q affect anything, they are in the general vicinity. But at the same time, it is literally a snap of the fingers. It's kind of like, okay, this is... Now, and I don't think it's just they immediately think of it and just do it. I think that Q generally thinks up, okay, this is what I want to do. I need to rearrange this to this to this to this to this to create this end result. And then he snaps his fingers, and that's when everything takes place. It seems instantaneous, but he actually does have to think about it. Now, Shelby,
Can I just be the new doctor so I can bullshit my way out of everything?
that's
If you
every
wanna be-
doctor.
Oh no,
Yeah,
this
I mean-
one is specifically just like the power of bullshit.
I mean, yeah, that's
I mean, if
literally
you
every
be a
doctor.
Time Lord, sure, that's fine.
No, but see, that's the thing, is that they've now, the last I remember, they confirmed the Doctor is not a Time Lord.
Yeah, they actually have. The Doctor is not a
is
Time Lord. The Doctor is actually this. It's actually the what did they call it?
I don't remember what they called it, but it's basically it is a whole other species that is functionally immortal. That's why the regeneration cycle doesn't apply to the Doctor, is because the Time Lords don't harness the power of regeneration. They stole it from the Doctor.
Yes. Yeah.
That sounds like some dumbass retcon.
It is.
Okay.
It's not a retcon. It is not actually a retcon. It is an explanation that the Time Lords, the higher up Time Lords knew that yes, they found this child that could regenerate into a new, regenerate. They discovered how to incorporate that into their DNA going forward, but they couldn't do it unendingly like the child could. They didn't want everybody else to know about it. And they sure as fuck didn't want the child to know about it. So they're like, no, you're just one of us. And it was a child, and the Doctor was a child at a young, was found and discovered and all this stuff at a young age. So we're talking like hundreds, if not thousands of years of memory, basically layered on top of that. So it's all of that is kind of buried.
And of course, then they put the signature Doctor Who pseudo-technical bullshit on it, where it wasn't just repressed, but apparently the Time Lords had a lock on the memories. Who was it that finally broke that? Was it the Master?
I think so. I think so. Now, see, Shelby. Okay, so Shelby's saying not to go, not to go through Superman's throat, but it doesn't take much to get under that Boy Scout skin. Now, see, Sin technically actually worded it just right. Sin said he wanted to be a Kryptonian, not Superman. So Sin probably wouldn't have that how do I want to put this? Not redneck.
To be fair, most Kryptonians that we've seen are pretty unstable in the first place.
Yeah, but Kal-El had that rural working farmer type upbringing. And it's Jonathan Kent that we have to thank for the fact, pretty much that all of the DC universe has to thank for not having a psychotic murdering overlord ruling over them. Exactly.
I still like how they're pushing everything onto that still. It's like, things are fucked. The timeline doesn't make sense. Yeah, it's Superboy. Remember when he punched a hole in reality? I thought we fixed it. Yeah, we did, but...
Now, are they talking about Superboy as in Superman as his first incarnation, or are they talking Superboy as in the clone?
Con-El, I think it was. It's
Okay.
Superboy Prime.
Okay, so not it's not necessarily Kal-El as a young man, but it was okay.
I'm trying to remember which L it is. No, it is Kal-El.
Oh, it is.
Superman's name? Yes, Kal-El.
No. It's the Superboy they blame for breaking reality is Superboy Prime, and he's still Kal-El. It's just he's from another Earth. Yeah, he's from Earth Prime.
I'm sorry. The DC. Oh my God. The DC has tried to the DC universe has tried to course correct so many fucking times. It is nearly impossible to get a fucking straight answer from anybody. I mean, at least Marvel's like
Earth Prime isn't even actually Earth Prime. It's not the Prime Earth. Earth Prime is Earth 1, which is actually Earth 2, and Earth 2 is the Silver Age comics, which is actually Earth 1.
this is my point. At least with Marvel, like, look, okay, for the longest time you had Earth 616. All right, boom, that's that. Now you have the Ultimates universe where Nick Fury is literally modeled after Samuel L. Jackson. That is a separate universe, but we're running both simultaneously. No big deal. We're not trying to say, oh no, this is a different. Okay, we're gonna mash all the universes together so you only have one of every single character, and then oh shit. People really aren't liking this. Let's undo this by having the Flash fuck around with shit, or
No. Most Marvel ever did was, oh yeah, that was totally Peter Parker, except it wasn't, except it was, except it wasn't, except it kind of was, except it kind of wasn't.
I mean, that's one of those Peter Parker who, though. I mean, they don't shy away from saying, yeah, there's multiple universes. Deal with it. DC was like,
that wasn't even multiple universe. That was just, was it Peter Parker or Ben Reilly?
I mean,
Ben Reilly was the clone. He had the cooler costume.
DC said, okay, there are multiple universes. Oh, people are getting confused about the multiple universes. Never mind. We're mashing everything together into the new 52. And then they're like, oh, people aren't liking the new 52. They're missing their old the old characters that they used to have. So we're going to need to find a way to undo this now.
Yeah, I think it's mostly because they accordion it, because you had one universe, then we had Crisis on Infinite Earth, then it was one universe again, then there was New 52, and stop it.
I mean, at least Stan Lee had the formula down. He had the formula and he shared it. He shared it very freely. No matter what happens, you always come around to the point where you started. It's one big circle. Your hero is always going to come around to where they started. That is the long game that Marvel was created around. Was you can have Spider-Man become all these fantastical things. He can become a member of the Fantastic Four or Fantastic Five, I think it was at that point. You can have him become an Avenger, but eventually he's going to come around to being a solo superhero in New York. That was the big secret. And that was something that DC never really bought into. They never accepted. They're just like, no. We're gonna have all of these different Hawkmen, and they're all gonna become uber powerful. Then, oh shit, they're too powerful, so we're gonna make a Hawk god. And then we're gonna have new Hawk, we're gonna have a new Hawkman, a new Hawk girl, and
don't forget they have a Bat God now.
What DC should have done is they should have stuck with 3 worlds: gold, silver, and modern.
Yeah,
is what they should have done. So you could have your JSA, and I guess they would be considered either gold or silver era, and that's when you have your older characters like the Atom, Stars and Stripesy,
Jay Garrick
fighting. Yeah, the original Flash fighting the Nazis. And and kind of steampunkish villains and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then you'd have your slightly more modern, so that's like, we'll say 70s through the 80s or 90s, or 70s through 80s or so, that kind of era, and then modern, which is today. And that way, if they would do something like that, that would make sense. It would be easier for their fans to keep track of. And that way, if you wanted to change a character, whatever, you just simply change that character in one era. One of the things that this is comic book fans off, at least as far as, all the media that I consume, is when they take a character who's traditionally XYZ, whatever, and they change it in some way that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I can understand that. It's
Well, because instead of just creating a new hero, they take an old hero and recycle them, like an old hero's name. Oh, because it's like it's a mantle or whatever.
well, that's the problem. That's the problem with DC, because they don't use the cyclical ideal that Stan Lee came up with. They never come back to the beginning, so they have to create somebody new who is at that beginning. So you have, okay, well, we have, the Green Lanterns become way too powerful, stuff like that. So we have to come up with a brand new character that is that's Earth's Green Lantern, and he is starting from the same point that, that the original Green Lantern started at.
Well, with the Lantern, the thing that's different with the Lantern is because it actually, the Lantern is, I'm a space cop. That's what the Lanterns all are. They're space cops.
I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying that.
Okay, so let's say Batman. Batman becomes way too powerful. He becomes way too involved in the Justice League. He becomes way too he's just too involved with everything. So now we have to come up with a new Batman. Yeah. Or we have to come up with a new Superman because of all of this bullshit. It's like, no, all you have to find a way to bring those characters back to their original starting point. So Batman, for example, has some falling out with the tradition, with the Justice League. And Batman is now a lone character. He's now a lone wolf. He's back to being just a man.
I am vengeance.
Yes, a man who has an incredible wealth and an incredible team behind him to create gadgets, but he doesn't work with anybody else. That's where you would bring Batman back to.
Yeah.
They never brought Batman back around. They just said, "Shit, we kind of lost the thread here. Let's create an all new universe with a brand new Batman, and that's back to square one." So it's everything that people think that they know doesn't apply to this Batman. It's like, no. Like, Peter Parker joined the Fantastic Four. They became the Fantastic Five for a time. Wonderful. Great. But something caused him to fall out with the Fantastic team. So now he's back to being just the lone, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man in Queens. Then he joins the Avengers. Great. He spends some time with the Avengers. They break up for some reason. And,
you know why?
And Spider-Man's back to just being his that lone hero in Queens.
Do you know why Spider-Man didn't stay in the Avengers? I actually can tell you.
I would imagine because they're a bunch of fucking dicks. I mean,
Hawkeye left another note on the fridge.
Hawkeye's not in the Avengers. Oh wait, Hawkeye is. Never mind. I was thinking you said Hawkman for some reason. That's what my brain heard. No, they wanted his secret identity. He wasn't going to give that up.
Yeah. He was Team Cap in the he was Team Cap in the actual Civil War. I am still just really, really pissed with how they did Civil War and just phase 3 of the MCU painted Tony Stark as this hero, but Tony Stark was the biggest fucking dick. He was a.
I wish they had brought in the fact that Hawkeye quits every 2 weeks by leaving notes on the fridge.
I will say this.
I kind of wish they would bring in, like, for the Hawkeye series, what it should have been was Hawkeye and Mockingbird. That would have been cool. I didn't watch the Disney thing for Hawkeye because I wanted it to be Hawkeye and Mockingbird. That's because there used to be a comic of those two and their adventures together. They're two gimmick. Well, she did have a power, but there were two basically brawler heroes.
Okay.
And having to deal with, powered villains, super weapon villains, shit like that. It was really a good comic.
I will say this. I do like how they did the Hawkeye series.
Oh, I didn't watch it.
Okay. Do you mind spoilers?
Oh, I don't care. Go right ahead. I'm not going to watch it.
Okay, so spoilers for Hawkeye. Spoiler warning for Hawkeye. So, Hawkeye and Kate Bishop are, they're kind of chasing after Avengers memorabilia and secret stuff. The big thing that everybody was after was this specific watch that actually did belong to to somebody who was in a pre-Avenger team up. But it belonged to Hawkeye's wife, who was Mockingbird. Now, Kate Bishop was trying to come up with a code name, a superhero name, and Hawkeye's like, you know what? No, I've got the superhero name for you. After he brought her to his family, everybody welcomed her, embraced her, was like, yes, okay, you're one of us now. I think what they were doing with that series was passing on the title of Mockingbird to Kate Bishop. Because it used to belong to Clint's wife. And he was kind of like, hey, yo, are you cool with her taking on your nickname? So they were loosely introducing the idea of a new Mockingbird.
Okay. I may have to give it a watch then.
It doesn't bring up Mockingbird that much, but Hank's wife knows so much about the Avengers, their method of operation and stuff, that it's quite clearly she knows some shit. She knows what's going on. And yeah, it's like I said, he when they finally get the watch and they all go home at the end, they all go to Barton's family. He gives her the watch and it's like, oh, hey, it's marked with I don't remember what number it was, but it was it was a very low number for an Avenger, and it was she was part of a pre-Avengers team. And yeah, it's very heavily implied that she was Mockingbird, and that they're not passing on the Hawkeye name. Well, they might be passing on the Hawkeye name, but it's more likely that they're passing on the Mockingbird name. So you have Hawkeye and Mockingbird as the next duo. Which, honestly, I think would be kind of fucking awesome.
It doesn't sound too bad.
It's not. I liked it I liked it specifically for the fact that it showed what a normal person, a normal everyday person who is just really fucking awesome with a bow and arrow, what it's like for them after the team is gone. So it's kind of like, Barton's suffering from severe hearing loss. He has to use a hearing aid, or he just can't hear anything. It's just all muffled and just very distant, watery and muffled.
Yep.
And it's like, that makes sense. It's like he can't regenerate like Cap or Hulk. He doesn't have the protection of Tony Stark. Yeah, it's like, yeah, he's gonna have severe hearing loss.
You know what would be really cool? Because there was a Deadpool Hawkeye team up, like I don't know how many issues it was.
Oh yeah.
But so the entire through the entire comic, because Deadpool knows that Hawkeye's deaf, he wears his mask pulled up so Hawkeye can read his lips the entire time.
Yes.
I thought that was cool.
I really hope that they bring. I mean, and I think that's kind of what they're. I hope that they bring Deadpool into the MCU. I hope that is something that happens, because it's like Hawkeye Hawkeye barely knows anything from American Sign Language. He just doesn't. So it's like, he's kind of like, another character in the series that's signing to him. He's like, I don't know sign language. So they're like, oh, okay, well, we'll have a translator then and stuff. It's like, okay, but
I speak English, obviously. I mean,
yeah,
so
but she was born deaf, so she doesn't speak. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of that dilemma of, okay, so she can't speak because she's never heard anything spoken, and it's like, and he can't read sign language, so even though he's got the hearing loss, he's kind of resistant against learning that sign language.
Well, and what's really stupid though, I mean, is so the fact that he lives in a universe where a man has a suit of armor that turns into a suitcase, and he can just carry it around with him, or a briefcase, not a suitcase, but a briefcase.
Yeah.
Why couldn't they just implant something in his ears? I mean, I could see where he was like, I don't want that. That I could see.
Because Stark's a dick. Tony Stark is a dick.
Okay, but Tony Stark's not the only genius in the Marvel Universe. All Hawkeye has to do is talk to Peter Parker. Peter be like, really? He'd love to do something for one of the Avengers. I bet money on it. I mean, seriously, he would be like, oh, you just need hearing aids? And he made his web shooters. Fuck, he could make hearing aids that shut shit out of his ears too. Whatever. But he could do it though.
But by
Peter's
the time,
smart enough.
But by the time that that the Hawkeye series starts, Barton's wanting out of it. Barton just wants to live with his family. He's gone through the blip. He went psycho during the blip. Then he got his family back, and he's like, look, I'm just happy to have my family here. I just want to spend time with my family. That's it. That's all. I just want my family.
That makes sense. That's when he was the Ronin. See, that's another reason why he would have been a good character to team up with Deadpool.
Oh, yeah.
Hawkeye doesn't mind hurting people and possibly killing people. So you can have him easily kill, goons and thugs. And, of course, Deadpool doesn't care. Period.
I think it'd be an interesting combination, specifically because of the fact that it's like you have Hawkeye who spent his time as Ronin, but has pulled back. It's like, no, I'm not that person. I was grieving for my family. I have my family back. I don't want my family to have to deal with that person. And then you have Deadpool, who's like, dudes, you were fucking awesome when you were killing everybody. What happened? And just kind of like that playing against one another. Okay, so Laura Barton was Agent 19. The watch had the shield emblem and 19 on it. So Laura Barton was Agent 19. And yeah, she is confirmed to have been Mockingbird. Thank you, Shelby. That was actually kind of just like eating away at the back of my brain. I hate when that happens. When you're like, you kind of know something, but it's like you don't really know the details. It's like,
So, do you have, out of curiosity, do you have any other pictures of the bike model skeleton?
The bike model is, I kind of do. Not immediately.
In chat?
Not immediately available. I would have to. I'll have to pull that up and kind of single that out and stuff. But yeah.
Would you please do that?
Yeah,
I'd like to see it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm over here just picturing Daredevil and Hawkeye and some hear no evil, see no evil shit.
Isn't the bike model one the one that's in the podcast screen
It
right
is.
now?
Yeah, it is. But I want to see, like, for one, I want to be able to see the whole thing from, like, front on and side view.
Yeah,
Since it's a model, he can rotate it. And stuff.
Yeah. Sid's wanting to see it from like it's in the detail, but yeah, it is. It actually has the proper green, red, and tan colors for Boba Fett. Same as the actual the robot model has the green and red on the plating. And then, like, the actual skeleton has the tan of, like, the undercloth, the cloth, the cloth that Mando that Boba Fett wears underneath all of its armor.
So, on the head, is there something on the head that gives it kind of the T-visor? Because that's what it looks like in the picture.
It doesn't actually, because I just used the model that they have for the robot's head.
Oh, okay.
But I just have
it. Looks like that though.
It kind of has that. I mean, most robots kind of have that like that mouth / nose like trapezoid, almost kind of like Vader has. You know how Vader has that trapezoid for his nose and mouth?
Yeah.
And then the circles for the eyes. That's more what most robot designs have.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like I said, it's I just took that model and colored it the three main tones of Boba Fett.
Cool.
Yes, Lucky the Pizza Dog. Oh, I loved that. I loved that. I loved the Lucky the Pizza Dog. That was just an awesome character that it wasn't like a major deal. It wasn't like, oh, hey, here's this big thing. It's like, but everybody who knew, it's like the one-eyed dog. It's like, oh, come on. We know his name. He loves pizza. He's very lucky. We know his name. Come on, just drop the name. Also, one of the other reasons why Clint Barton, Hawkeye, didn't reach out to Peter Parker is actually the next to last, I think it was the next to last episode of Hawkeye happened the exact same time as Spider-Man No Way Home.
Oh, okay.
So at that during that episode was the point where everybody forgot who Peter Parker was.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
So yeah, that was kind of a big ooh hey plot twist.
So another person Hawkeye could have reached out to, because it should have been somebody he should have known. Hank Pym.
He didn't really know Hank Pym.
The original Ant-Man? The original Ant-Man?
Yeah. He did not really know Hank Pym because Hank Pym was not a major part of the Avengers, actually. Scott Lang was. Scott Lang was a major part of the Avengers. Hank Pym was had a fleeting past connection with the Avengers. So
see, that's the difference between the MCU and the actual comics.
Exactly.
Because,
yeah.
See, I'm going by actual comics, not MCU, because
Yeah.
I mean, nobody really wants to talk to actual comics, Hank Pym. He's kind of a dick.
Oh yeah. Dude beat his wife. That was what got him kicked out of the Avengers.
Down to watch his wife in the shower.
No, dude got kicked out of the Avengers.
That bad.
The dude got kicked out of the Avengers
Unless
because
they were divorced or something like that. I mean,
he beat his wife.
Yeah.
He got kicked out of he got kicked out of the Avengers because he beat his wife. He physically abused his wife.
Like, I always go for the shower thing because,
also,
like, that's the
MCU
least
Hank
creepy
Pym
thing
is also
comics
kind of a
Hank
dick.
Pym has done.
I mean, that was
am I wrong?
What?
What'd you say, Sin?
Your fucking headset crap out again.
No, we can hear you. We just we didn't hear what you said before. Can you even hear us?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, if he can't hear us. That's weird.
We always have such fun, don't we?
We can hear you. We can hear you, Sin. We just didn't hear what you said a little bit ago.
Hang on. Let me see if he's in the Pirates chat. I'll let him know.
All right. I need to go to the bathroom. So I will be back in just a little bit.
Oh no, creepy silence.
Only if you fuckers don't talk.
I mean, that's true. Alright, I left him a message. Whether he reads it or not is another story. He's in there complaining about his headset, so I'm hoping he reads it. But yeah. So I've been playing. What have you guys been playing lately, game-wise?
I haven't actually.
Oh.
I've been working on trying to get some of this shit that I've been working on together, and getting ready for a new job. So that's been my life the past week.
Makes sense. Yeah, I've been playing Evil Dead with my boyfriend, so that's fun. It's an interesting game, to say the least.
I've been reading up on the latest Dead by Daylight updates.
Oh yeah.
I think they're running out of ideas for killers.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mainly only have, for Dead by Daylight, I mainly only have the. I didn't bother to grab the random killers. I just grabbed the movie killers like Jason, Michael Myers. Well, not Jason. Jason's not in it. Michael Myers, Leatherface, all that shit.
I'm still torn on Pinhead, honestly.
Oh yeah, that looks cool. I might grab Pinhead actually. Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Pinhead
hoping he's a lot more dynamic than the description makes him sound like, because the description makes it sound like you can literally just stand still and let the cube do all the work.
Yeah. Hopefully. Hopefully it's It's more than just that. If I get it before you do, I'll let you know. And then Sadako is the only other one. Sadako is the only other one that I don't have.
Yeah, I didn't get around to reading her description yet.
Yeah. But the rest I have, like the pig from Saw.
Amanda?
Yeah, Amanda. And Leatherface and the Ghostface and all that stuff.
And Face.
Face, yeah. I don't
I
play...
love that someone made an abridged series of Dead by Daylight, and the running gag is just that Legion is a bitch.
Yeah, it wasn't like... I don't know if he's still... I'm pretty sure at one point they had... or maybe he is still in it. They had Pyramid Head in there and everything. Maybe he is...
Pyramid Head is still in there, I think.
Okay, he's a downloadable, yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But like, just the joke is that Legion tries to be edgy, but it never works.
Oh, I think Sin's back.
Ah, Sin is back. I think.
Is he? Now we can't hear him. Jesus.
I see the light, but I don't hear.
Can you do?
I haven't
sign
said a damn thing. I was waiting for a chance to talk.
Don't wait for a chance, just talk.
It's fine. Just do sign language, Sin.
We can lip read.
I don't want to look at Sin's lips. I'm just gonna say it. I don't want to look at Sin's lips.
You don't want to see my face either.
You
walked into it.
Again.
I was gonna turn it into something, but
Again, you look like the pretty much the typical aging metalhead.
It's true. You do. Yes.
Hey, all I can say is I received nudes via chat today, and I didn't ask for them.
okay.
Who were they from?
Did
That's just called the internet, buddy.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Did you appreciate them?
Yes, I did.
This spells like, were they good nudes?
Exactly.
Well, I think they were.
As long as you appreciated them, that's the important part. I mean, it's like, you know.
Were they from
And-
a person named? Were they from a person named Female Bot 420?
No, it was from a former coworker of mine, and that's all I'm
Oh.
going to say.
Okay, fair enough.
Hey. Cool.
There you go.
That's
My next
yeah.
guess was it was actually just a can of Pabst, but okay.
Pabst? Why would I?
No, good gods. Have some decency.
Okay, what other beer would you say is slutty enough to send nudes?
I don't think there's any beer that would cut
Miller Genuine Draft.
Yeah,
used to
true.
be my beer
Miller's
of choice.
kind of get well,
I
but
used to-
Miller's up there.
I used to like Miller Genuine Draft. I used to drink that shit like by the case, by myself.
But like Miller's the older, it's the older type. So would they really just be sending out random nudes?
Sure, because they were proud of what they had and it still looked good.
Yeah, but I feel like they'd have an OnlyFans.
Yeah, but I mean, okay. That is.
We finally found a topic that will get him confused.
I mean, they
Funny.
I mean, yeah, they may have an OnlyFans, but I mean, if you are, if you already have a connection with them and they appreciate you, then, I mean, they may be like, you know what, fuck it, here you go.
Wait a minute, if Miller has an OnlyFans, does that mean that Budweiser's like just in the old pinups?
Oh God, I'm pretty sure.
Budweiser's that dirty whore.
Yeah, like I said, they're the old pinup model. That's just like, okay, you know what?
No. Budweiser would be the.
Or they the dock workers.
Budweiser would be the Ron White comparison. The old,
Shut the hell up.
the
Tater salad?
No, the super old biker chick at the bar that's like, you want to see my tits? Yeah. Whap! All right, I've seen them. Roll them back up.
so that means that Coors is the redneck girl.
So Sin is, Olaf is not wrong. These conversations definitely go sideways.
Oh,
Wait,
they
so
go
does
everywhere.
that mean that natural light, or natty light, as it is like to be called, is just the Molly addicted party girl?
No, I think Natty Light is the special needs girl that just wants to be loved.
Ooh.
God, that shit's horrible.
So what's red stripe?
I've never had that, so I don't know.
Fun fact, I actually said I hate beer. I cannot stand it. It all tastes like wheat. But like I literally sat down with just like 7 different beers one night and went through every single one until I found one that I could choke down, and it turns out it's red stripe.
I don't like the hoppiness. I hate, so many beers are like, oh yes, we've got twice the hops. It's like, I hate the
That
hops.
just makes it taste more like shit.
I hate the bitter taste of hops.
Fun fact, there was a restaurant for a while, like, near me. It was in a city like 2 hours away, called Hops, and their whole thing was that they were a microbrewery. The disadvantage to this means that everything had hops dust in it. So you had a bourbon steak that was way too heavy on the bourbon, an Irish cream brownie that was way too heavy on the Irish cream, and then everything had hops dust.
Yeah.
See, I think the only beer that I've ever tasted that I was kind of okay with was Blue Moon with the orange wheel in it. It's like that one was like, it didn't have a whole lot of hops, it didn't have the bitter taste, but it was okay, but it was like, it was still, I don't know, it was still a very dry taste. So it's very tart.
The beer that I used to drink the hell out of was Red Dog.
I've heard of this, but I've never tried it.
So the mascot is a blood red. It's a bulldog.
Yeah.
It was out in the 90s. I don't know if it's even around anymore, but yeah, I got to be friends with the delivery guy. So I got like free beer, and I got like a ball cap and some other, swag.
That's always great when you're friends with the distributor in particular. It's like, oh yeah, hey, I got this new stuff. You gotta try it. It's like, all right.
So apparently, yes, Red Dog is still around. It's just
cool.
Very, very rare.
Cool.
Huh. But yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah, like I said, it's for me, it's like, yeah, the hoppiness for me is just that is the killer. That's just like the bleh.
I love how if you go into these companies, you find out that like most of the beers that most people drink and you're comparing to these other beers are really just the same company.
Oh yeah. I used to work at one of the Meijer stores here. I used to do their grocery back door, which meant that I had to be there at 5 o'clock in the morning to receive the beer and liquor and all kinds of stuff like that. Oh yeah, there are startlingly few actual distribution companies. Most of the companies are the same. It's all about, yeah, it's more about distribution than actual like than actual manufacturing and stuff like that.
Another funny thing about beer and stuff like that is, so like, I want to say, at least in the area that I lived in when I was drinking Red Dog beer, I think it was done bottled and all that and delivered by Miller. I think it was owned by Miller. I could be wrong. That's been a long time ago, like 20 plus years.
it may have just been distributed by, like I said, it's the distribution companies were the major players. It's like, yeah, you had like each distribution company distributed like at least 3 different beers that were viewed as being competitors, but it's like, well, no, it's they may be manufactured by different companies, but they're literally just, yeah, they are totally just, it's just the distribution is what really mattered. So you'd have like, I mean, like, and oh my god, just to let you know how fucking deceptive these distribution companies were. Fucking bastards. We actually had, I actually had to like have everybody who came in with any kind of liquor, any distributor that came in with any kind of liquor, I had to have them actually open every single box that they came in with. Because they would try and bring in like, oh, hey, we've got, you know, 3 cases of Jack Daniels, which normally would be like 12 bottles, but they'd have like 6 specialty cases that that the store was never actually supposed to carry. We were never authorized to carry their special collector's boxes, and they try and sneak this shit in. So it was like, it got to the point where we had to have them open every single goddamn case of liquor that they brought in, just to make sure that they weren't bringing in something special that they were trying to basically get rid of, that we were never supposed to carry. It's like, it was a special kind of hell. and every single one of them were like, oh no, you don't need to look at this. It's like, yes, I do. And sure enough, I opened up some about once a month. They'd be trying to bring in something that's like, nope, that's not in our inventory. That we don't have a UPC code for that. We have to reject that. And it got to the point where the store was like, just reject the entire fucking order. If they try and bring something in that we're not supposed to carry, reject the whole fucking order. So it's like, and that was the reason why back in the late 90s, early 2000s, that was the reason why, particularly with Meijer stores in the Midwest here, it was like, yeah, sometimes you couldn't get Jack Daniels or, you know, certain types of gin or certain types of whiskey, because we had to fucking flat out just reject the entire order because they were trying to bring in something that we were never supposed to carry. Fucking insane.
That's crazy. So gamers.
So sin.
So I know you don't drink now. Have you ever drank?
I've never really acquired a taste for it. Like, I mean, I was forced to have alcohol. My sister ordered me, I don't even remember what the hell it was. It was several years ago on my birthday. She took me to a restaurant, ordered me a bunch of whatever the hell it was. I tried it and I couldn't stand it. I just never acquired a taste for it. It just all is bitter to me, and I don't know. It's not my thing.
Okay. No, I was just curious because I was going to ask, you know, because I understand you don't drink now. That's fine. I was just curious as to, you know, if and when you did drink, did you have a favorite?
No, not really. I never really liked anything alcoholic. I don't even drink champagne. Like, I mean,
oh god. Why are people so enraptured with champagne?
Oh no,
it's
not
glamorous.
I mean, it's you
Because
have it on special.
of the media.
You have it on special occasion.
Well, I get that, but it's just like, no, there are a lot of people that are like, oh no, champagne, you have to drink champagne. It's like, why? Most champagne is shit.
Tastes awful.
Yeah.
So
Not to mention, people don't realize that whole, the stereotype where you pop the cork and everything, that means that the shit's gone stale.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's actually, there's supposed to be just enough carbonation that it fizzes, but if it is built up enough that it can actually propel the cork off, the champagne is too old. It's gone stale.
Huh. Makes me think that bit with Christopher Walken on SNL, Champagne.
Perhaps I can interest you. Some fine champagne.
Yes.
Either
I like
that,
Christopher Walken.
either that or Futurama, the champagne.
Oh God, champagne. And then they're like, that's not how it's pronounced, He's like, oh God,
It's champagne. Oh God, no. Yes.
Why am I still going through the Occupy Richie Rich webpage?
I don't know. Why are... I'm not sure I've even heard of that.
So it's a parody website. They found all these old Richie Rich covers that are just ridiculous, and they're like, this is just proof that Richie Rich is a bastard who, experiments on genetic cloning. They obviously have a new Richie every time he accidentally liquefies himself with these ridiculous contraptions. He's buying friends.
Every time I hear Richie Rich, I just think of the bloody, wasn't it the Adam Sandler movie? Richie, wasn't there a Richie Rich Adam Sandler movie? Or
no, there was Richie Rich with Macaulay Culkin.
Yes.
And
that's what it was.
Mr.
That's
Deeds,
what it was. Sorry,
which was basically Richie Rich with Adam Sandler.
No, I am thinking of the Macaulay Culkin movie, Richie Rich. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how Macaulay Culkin and Adam Sandler look like.
No, well, I mixed them both up with Mr. Deeds.
Well, I don't know. I mean, if you look at Macaulay Culkin now and Adam Sandler at the same age, I mean, they both look like they have been rode hard and put away wet.
Wow.
Also, honestly, I just can't take it seriously when I see the long-haired, grizzly beard, gaunt, heroin chic Macaulay Culkin, and they're like, his name's Mac. I'm like, of course it is.
Yeah. The only thing I found him funny in lately was when he was on Angry Video Game Nerd, and Angry Video Game Nerd was doing a review of all the Home Alone movies, not movies, sorry, Home Alone games on the NES. And then he's like, I got it. I brought a special guest along with me to try it. And then he opens his door and there's Macaulay Culkin. And so they just played the games together. And Macaulay Culkin's like, God, I'm glad I never signed off on these games. They're just fucking terrible.
Yeah.
There was a one-off series called Drivers, which was basically celebrities being Uber drivers. And their very first episode was Macaulay Culkin. But it wasn't Macaulay. It was supposed to actually be Kevin McAllister. It turns out he grew up, he has PTSD, he has a girlfriend that doesn't respect him, he has no job. And then it turns out anytime he's in a situation where people are robbing him, he just immediately reverts to fucking Rambo mode.
All right, that I think I could get behind that.
I don't think I've ever actually seen the Home Alone movies.
They're nothing special.
And I'm not bothered by it. Yeah.
They're they're nothing special now. They're nothing special now.
Here's
having
the problem
seen them when I was when I was about the right age, the right market age for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they were cool.
Here's the problem with Home Alone. The first two movies were good. After the first two movies, they were starting to milk the franchise. They didn't have Macaulay Culkin anymore. They were just having random kids in every freaking future movie. Home Alone 3 had some random kid, and then Home Alone 4 or what? I don't even know what they're at now. Home Alone 20?
Home Alone
I don't
4 had Alex and had nothing to do with McAllister's or the
Yeah.
Wet Bandits or anything. It
was
was
just
Alex gets a
weird.
toy with the top secret government chip in it
It's so stupid.
because,
I mean,
you know, Small Soldiers was out and we had to compete. And then Home Alone 4 is some random girl who has something going on, and then they reintroduce Marv for no reason, played by a completely different actor. And then I think they had
Wow.
Home Alone 5, which reintroduces Kevin as a younger, different actor, but it's still supposed to take place like 3 years after Home Alone 2, even though Kevin is now younger than he was in Home Alone 2, and Harry and Marv had already gone to prison, and then Harry comes back. It's fucking weird.
That's what I mean. It's so
Sounds
stupid.
like it.
It's just milking the franchise. After Home Alone 1 and 2, they just started to milk the freaking franchise, and it just became stupid.
So, Caden just mentioned a movie that pisses me off.
Uh-oh. Which one's that?
Small Soldiers.
Oh,
I don't think I've ever seen it.
It made me so fucking mad. And I wasn't a kid, but that they made the soldiers be the bad guys. Made me so mad.
I see that's one of those points where I have to kind of disagree, because I see what they were going for. Okay,
I do too.
The soldiers were supposed to be the heroes, but all heroes need a villain. And the whole idea is that the quote unquote monsters were supposed to be just this species.
They were supposed to be monsters, but they ended up being nice.
Well, they were never supposed to be monsters. Their designer wanted them to be just
right.
they were supposed to be curious, and they were supposed to be curious explorers. So you had that's what they were bringing in as the quote unquote monsters, but they never really instilled the monster idea into the programming. So you had, it was like, oh, well, these are the monsters, but they don't see themselves as monsters. They just want to explore and learn. And
because learning toys are stupid.
Yeah, it's you want to fucking... Who wants to learn shit? Nobody wants to learn shit. It was... And it was, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't see the soldiers or the monsters as either one being the bad guys, honestly. It's the idea of... You have to have the G.I. Joe versus Cobra. You have to have the He-Man versus Skeletor. You have to have She-Ra versus the Horde. You have to have these good versus evil, and the good have to be human, and the evil has to be non-human. That was the end result of the actual good versus evil. Everything else was just down to they're basically miniature little robots that are programmed that way.
So that brings up an interesting point. So like when Kaylee, my daughter, and I watched Avatar, I keep telling her the humans are the good guys. She's like, no, they're not. I said, yes, they are. Because to my point of view, the humans are the good guys.
You're talking about
human.
You're talking about James Cameron's Avatar, right?
Yes, blue people Avatar. Yeah, not the Airbender.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good differentiation there, because they're.
Yeah. I gotta say, I loved the Avatar game that was on PS3. A lot of people hated it. I love the fact that you could choose to be as either the Marines or the Na'vi. That was a really cool thing for me, to just be able to pick which side you wanted to be on.
I mean, I think with Avatar in particular, it's like if you look at more or less where the idea kind of really came from, I think you could really look. I think that's a better indication of what is, who the good versus evil really is.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it, it's Dancing with Wolves. That's all it really is. It's Dancing with Wolves.
Well,
the Na'vi are the Native Americans. The guy who kind of crosses the border is Kevin fucking Costner. It's the exact same goddamn story.
I get that, but here's the thing. So on the Blu-ray version of the Avatar movie, there was a special feature, and it was with James Cameron, and he was talking about the inspiration for Avatar, and it wasn't a movie. He said it was like he did like this whole documentary thing where he visited this like African tribe, and it was all based around them apparently that he met, and he was inspired by how they lived and all this guy. Anyway, that's what he claimed it was in the special features. That it was not a movie. It was this tribe that he had met and how they had lived, and he was really inspired by them.
So when the movie came out, there was a big stink about it because apparently there is or was a Russian story, and when I say Russian, I just mean because it was written by somebody who was Russian, that actually is almost exactly Avatar, but instead of big blue cat people, it was dog people. But it was the same basic story, yes. And so I don't know if they ever tried to litigate or anything like that, but yeah, so the story I heard in regards to all that is Cameron stole that story idea, concept, whatever from somebody else.
Yeah.
I don't know the truth behind that, just what I heard.
I'm sorry. I mean, you can say, oh no. This was where I got the idea from. All you want. It's like, when it connects, when it is like a 1-for-1 comparison with so many different fucking stories like that, and like I said, with Dances with Wolves, pretty much any, hey, this native group has, is living on top of a resource that we want. We are going to go in and dispose them, but one of our people connects with this native group and becomes and basically becomes part of that group. I mean, this is the only reason James Cameron didn't get his ass sued off. It's because
he couldn't name it Thunderheart.
Well, no, was simply because this is a trope. This is a massive trope that is shown time and time again through so many different forms, through stories, through other movies and stuff like that. It's like, well, we can say that, hey, you copied us, but we can't prove that you didn't directly copy us, but instead you copied somebody similar to us. It's like, it's kind of like saying, it would be kind of like saying that, showing a Na'vi, if in the second one, the Na'vi, one of the Na'vi starts stealing from the humans and giving riches to the Na'vi. Well, does Kevin Costner and his team have a right to sue for Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves? Does Mel Brooks and Robin Hood Men in Tights have a right to sue? Do any of the people that have done something similar to Robin Hood have a right to sue them?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all the same story, but it's such an overviewed and just generalized trope at this point that you really can't say you stole it from me specifically. And I think that's the only thing that saved James Cameron's ass on that. I mean, I will say that is my opinion, but I think
it makes sense.
You could be right. I mean, he could just be saying that. Yeah, exactly. He could just be saying, well, this was the inspiration. It was this African tribe. Meanwhile, it's not really. He's just saying that to cover his ass. Yeah.
I mean, even then, it could be the African tribe, but it's like, look, this is such a generalized trope that it's like, yeah, it's identical to all of these different things. So, you know, that you may be able to say, no, I didn't take that from this item, but it does. Oh, but it's really hard not to see it as, yeah, that was kind of the inspiration there. I mean, that's one of the biggest problems with tropes is they're there for a reason, because people can do similar stories and make something that's very similar. Say, look, I didn't steal from you, but I stole from the same place you stole from, which isn't really stealing because, well, it's just a general trope. Sorry.
No, I get what you're saying, and it makes a lot of sense.
But I mean, that being said, yeah, it seriously was a very tropey movie, and
oh yeah,
I do have problems with things that are, I do kind of have problems with things that are just, that rely so much on tropes that everybody else has done, that it's like, oh, so yeah, this is again. Okay. Why should I really? Why are you getting so much accolade for it when it's just something that everybody else has done? There's a reason why you don't rely on why most things that rely very heavily on tropes don't work, and everybody just kind of like shrugs it off because, well, they know what to expect. But we've actually covered that before. I just realized it's like we've literally covered this on Geek Trivia before, not Geek Trivia. Dear gods, I am getting my shows mixed up. We've covered this on Pirates of the Geek Vortex, our favorite tropes.
We have, yes. I think it was like one of the previous. I am looking forward to the upcoming Avatar game though that's coming out. It looks pretty cool.
I will admit I am curious as to where they go with the new Avatar movie. I do want to know where they go from here.
So Avatar, Blue Cat people or Airbender?
The Blue Cat people. There is a new movie that's in the works. The Way of Water, which actually looks like it's kind of like the Na'vi, the Blue Cat people, working kind of hand in hand with humans as far as like general production and stuff like that. I don't know where they're I really don't know where they're going with that. I've seen the first trailer, but they don't it kind of sets the general tone of everything, but it doesn't really go into specifics. But it's one of those that's like, you know, it could be good. It could be good. I'm hesitantly optimistic.
Aiden, are you still editing?
Maybe.
I wondered why you were so quiet.
I don't know.
Yeah.
See, Caden likes to listen to other people and kind of like, you know. Caden is one of those people you kind of have to keep an eye on because he likes to listen to things and just kind of like pick things apart.
I listen and I learn shit and then I use it.
I mean, that works too. But yeah, I'm kind of curious if Ubisoft's upcoming Avatar game is going to be based on the new movie or not, or if it's just going to be like its own thing. I know it's supposed to be open world, and it's only supposed to be for next-gen gaming consoles and PC, obviously.
Oh, that reminds me. I may have to do either some videos or some live stream of the Spider-Man stuff soon. The Spider-Man games are supposed to be coming to PC finally.
I'm surprised that Sony's allowing that to happen, because for the longest time they said they were going to leave them as Sony exclusive.
But see, that's the thing, is most of the time when they sign those exclusivity agreements, those have a time limit. So it's like, well, for so many years, yeah, it's exclusive to just the PlayStation, but then when that runs out, it's like, hey, we can up the, we can redo the graphics and stuff for PC. So
I mean, if you like the Batman Arkham games, then you'll probably like Spider-Man. If you didn't, then you won't like Spider-Man.
Oh, I loved the Arkham series.
It's literally a clone. They literally, Insomniac Games literally stole from Batman Arkham, and they made a Spider-Man.
I mean,
that's literally what it is.
To be fair, it makes more sense for Spider-Man than Batman. It really does, because it's like, Batman doesn't have the sixth sense, so if somebody's about to punch him in the back of the head, Batman doesn't have anything that's like, oh, somebody's about to punch me in the back of the head, better dodge. It's like, but Spider-Man does, so it's like that gameplay really makes more sense for.
It does.
Yeah, it really makes more sense for Spider-Man.
It does, but the reason they wrote it like that for the Arkham games is because he had that robotic cowl, right? That's what it was. He had that cowl.
Okay, so he kind of like, it was like it was kind of like the it was kind of like Tony Stark's tech in Civil War that was also used for Taskmaster in the Black Widow, where it was like, there's a 93.7% chance that this person is going to pull this move, so you can almost move before they do, type of thing.
I hate that character. That is not Taskmaster.
Yeah, I agree. It was a technology-based Taskmaster. I hope that they bring in the proper version of Taskmaster.
What are you guys looking at? The Taskmaster from Spider-Man? Or
no, from Black Widow. From the Black Widow movie.
So, Taskmaster has photographic reflexes. So, they never explain, or at least I've never seen whether they explain that he's a mutant or what, or he's a mutate, which means he got his powers from something. I've never seen where they explain how he got his powers, but he has photographic reflexes. So what he did, besides condition his body physically, so lift weights, run, all that kind of shit, was he would watch basically videos of Cap, the Punisher, Spider-Man, Hawkeye, anybody who had a weapon gimmick, he could do the exact same thing. So he could watch Cap throw his shield, bounce it off 15 different targets and hit 15 different people, and the shield would come back to him. Taskmaster could do the exact same thing, exactly the way Cap could do it.
Yeah. That's the comic book. That's the comic book explanation for Taskmaster. Now, in the Black Widow movie, they explained it as either the helmet or special contact lenses that basically use the same tech as Tony Stark, where it analyzed somebody's moveset and was like, and could predict within a certain percentage of probability as to what they are going to do next, and that was how the Taskmaster was able to adapt to that. And I think they have a chance with introducing the idea of the multiverse and mutants into the MCU. They have a possibility of introducing a proper Taskmaster to the MCU that has these heightened abilities that are just, this is just that person's innate ability. And I hope they do. Now, as far as gender, I don't give a fuck if Taskmaster is male or female. I don't
like when they change things. I don't, because I'm a purist. I can understand certain changes, but certain things to me go too far. Again, because I want it to be like in the comics.
Yeah. And that's understandable, but it's like, for me, it's like I don't really see it as an issue of, Taskmaster has to be male, because the character was introduced when pretty much every major comic book character had to be male.
So
I don't really care whether it's like, it's, they could say, hey, somebody in the Black Widow program was using the tech and just their brain was rewired through the multiverse of madness and the whole connectivity of the multiverse, so that they don't need the tech. It's just them. It's just in their brain. Cool, whatever. But just make the character it's just their innate ability. It's not something that, anybody who pops on this tech is able to do it, type of thing. But again, that's me. It's like,
No, I mean, that's your opinion, and I respect your opinion. I am a purist, so I don't like when things are changed. So the other reason why I think Taskmaster was originally written as a male character was because originally Taskmaster wasn't an actual villain. He was a goon trainer. So he worked for people like Kingpin. He didn't go out and get his own hands dirty. He trained Kingpin's guys. He trained, other, villains. He trained their henchmen. That's what he did. He wasn't an actual go out and steal stuff kind of bad guy, or rob places, blow stuff up. He wasn't that kind of bad guy. He was more of a instructor.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
And not that women can't be instructors or teachers or anything like that. He was just originally written as like basically a mob goon type character. That's what he did for organized crime of different factions. So the Tongs, the regular mafia. I can't remember what, like, because they don't call Marvel, doesn't call it the mafia. They have their own special name for it. But I can't remember what it is.
Of course they do.
Well, it's because Marvel's based in New York, and nobody wants to get greased because they made some, Italian pissed off.
You got too close to the truth there, boss.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, that's one of those things where it's like, I mean, I can respect I can respect the purist idea. I really can. It does kind of cheese me a little bit when, I mean, it took me a while to be okay with the idea of Frank Castle being an Iraq veteran versus a Vietnam veteran. But at the same time, it's like, seriously, if he was a Vietnam veteran, he would be too old to be the Punisher. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, things like that don't bother me because they're just bumping it up to... So they, instead of, so G.I. Joe did the same thing. So, like Snake Eyes is a Vietnam vet.
Yeah.
He was part of LRP team, which is a long-range patrol team. Him and Stalker and Storm Shadow, all three of those characters are Vietnam vets, but they've had to retcon their backgrounds to keep the characters because, you know, when, in all honesty, when the characters came out in you know, like 83,
Well, yeah. I mean, when they came out,
the characters,
yeah, they were that time scale made sense.
yes, to an extent. I mean, in all honesty, they were still, even then, they were getting kind of long in the tooth to do all the shit that they had them doing in the comics.
But yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of people that are just like, oh my god, the number of people that are like, that will jump on Twitter or Facebook or any of the social media apps that are like, this character should be male and white and blah. It's like, does it? The biggest question for me is like, does it really take away from the character as far as, you know, as far as whether or not this you know, as far as what gender or what, you know, racial background this character has? And it's like, for the most part, for me, it's like, I don't see why it takes away from that character. It's like, no matter what you look at, we've got a lot of, we have a lot of just, we seriously have a lot of white male characters, even with the quote unquote wokeness and the quote unquote, you know, changing everything around. It's like, with all of that, it's like, we do still, you know, it's like there is no lack of white male characters to look up to.
That's true.
And that's,
I think my biggest problem in regards to that necessary subset, or however you want, is the fact that instead of writing new characters for these, for, you know, for whatever group that they want, okay, they give them a hand-me-down character.
Yeah.
Instead of creating a new character, something new and vibrant, oh, you get Captain, you know, Kangaroo or whatever. I mean, it doesn't, I forgot that was actually a show I watched when I was a small child when I said that. So, but
yeah,
you know, you get hand-me-down hero Captain Nobody Gives a Shit.
Yeah, I can see, and I can kind of understand that. I really can. It is, I mean, there is a very much a, how do I want to put this? There is a certain point where it's like, you know, you are kind of, I mean, I'm pretty sure I've said this before. There's a certain point where it's like, creating a new character isn't as welcome in the comic book community as revitalizing a character. It's kind of a question of, who do you piss off the most? Yes, it would be best to introduce a new character. Say, look, this person is their own character. We don't have to rely on somebody who has been already introduced before and is being revitalized and reimagined. But at the same time, it's that idea of, are people going to be interested in that brand new character?
Well, and see, that's the problem that Marvel and DC both have, is that anymore, their writers suck. I mean,
I'm not gonna argue with that. I mean, just that's not even a question of character. That's just,
yeah. But what I'm getting at is, so if they had better writers, then you could get people interested in those new characters. That was one of the things I loved as a kid, was to get a new comic book that I knew nothing about, so I could learn about that comic. So like, there was a new comic book company. It was a subset of DC, but it was his own thing, which was Impact Comics. So they'd gotten the rights to a bunch of characters. One of them was called The Fly. There was a guy called the Black Hood. There was the Shield, Jaguar, and like a couple others. And these were all old characters that nobody got the rights to, because they kind of went into the public space, and then DC bought the rights to them. So they created an entirely separate universe, which was the Impact universe. So then you could do things with those characters. So like the cool thing about the Black Hood, the person that wears, so the Black Hood is an executioner's hood. The executioner's hood was cursed by somebody who was wrongly executed. So and basically the thing with the curse was him, or who, I think it said it was basically him, whoever shall wear the hood will be cursed to do only good. The thing about that was that it was the hood wearer, their interpretation. So the first guy in Impact Comics that wore the hood was like the Punisher, because that's what he thought was good. And then a kid got it, and so he became, like, he wasn't near as violent, but he still got some powers, some abilities from the hood. Basically like combat, melee, that kind of stuff. He was good at shooting, those kinds of things. And then a bad guy got the hood, so he did what he thought was good. His crime boss, and that crime boss's name was Hit Coffee, which is kind of a funny name. But yeah. And so that, I mean, you could take stuff like that if you were to create more characters, for example, like the Black Hood, or make more groups like Lantern Corps, and I'm just using the Lantern Corps as a general idea, where it's a group of space police or whatever. Yeah. So then you could have, and you could have, your gay character, your ethnic characters, whatever.
I mean, I would say we do have to take a look at some of the how do I put this politely? Some of the not so constructive feedback on the Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
Talking about people saying crap about that chick?
Yes, about Reva, the third sister of the Inquisition. Yeah. I mean, brand new character introduced for the specific series. And even then, there's
people being stupid.
Yeah.
I saw the clip with Ewan McGregor talking about it briefly. So as far as I got into Obi-Wan, in all honesty, I got to where he meets the Jawa, and the Jawa keeps telling him he stinks.
Okay, so you
and then I was like, fuck it, I just can't watch this.
It gets a lot more interesting, a lot more intriguing post that. you're still kind of in the very, very broad stroke world building of all of that.
So my thought is, why do you need to do world building? It's Tatooine. Everybody knows Tatooine.
But
it's a fucking giant litter box.
Yes, but nobody knows what happened to Obi-Wan after Revenge of the Sith. After Revenge of the Sith, nobody knows what Obi-Wan is doing, and it is kind of an important and it is a very important and instrumental part of the overall story. So basically, Obi-Wan is living a mundane life. He has given up being all connections to the Jedi. He doesn't want anything to do with it. His entire life is just making sure that nothing bad happens to Luke. That's it. That is his life. Survive, make sure nothing bad happens to Luke. That's it. To the point where at a future point, a Jedi actually comes up to him and is like, look, I know who you are. You're Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's like, I don't know that name. I'm Ben. No, I know who you want my advice. Take your lightsaber, bury it somewhere out in the Dune Sea, and forget about your life. I'm not that person anymore. I am not. He has completely given up. And through various different things that happen, he is kind of dragged back into it and has to deal with the realization that he can't just
hide.
Yeah, he can't hide. He can't just bury his head in the sand and be like, no, I don't want to. I can't do this. I don't want to do this. No, just no. Yeah, like I said, I think you kind of left it off. I hate to say it sounds cliche, but I think you kind of left it off shortly before it really starts. You really start getting into the meat and potatoes of it.
I think I may go back and get it later,
I mean, the way you normally look at the way you normally watch things, I would give it till they've. I would almost say, I mean, it's supposed to be it's only supposed to be 6 episodes. We're already 3 episodes in. Give it 3 more weeks and then just watch the whole thing. Just watch it and just go from start to finish.
Yeah, that's probably what I'll do. Yeah, like I said though, because I'm kind of interested in some of the stuff that I've heard happens in episode 3. Like Vader shows up on Tatooine and he has basically this procession of people standing down the road, the Inquisitors, Stormtroopers, and all that shit.
Oh,
and they're all.
Oh yeah.
And then he just starts murdering townspeople.
Yeah, he is fucking goddamn brutal. Now that being said, Gamers Grotto, have you seen the teaser trailer for for Star Wars Jedi Survivor?
Yeah, we talked about it last podcast. You were saying that you think it's the guy from.
I have expanded it out to 3 possibilities. There are 3 possibilities as far as I can see.
Can I before you bring that up? Can I
Sure.
tell you what I've been hearing about it on the internet?
Oh yeah.
Well, a lot of people have been thinking it's Star Killer.
They're gonna have. Oh, it's another. You're talking about a video game. Never mind.
Yeah, I don't think it's Star Killer.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mostly because I don't know if Sony, or Marvel or Disney or whoever the fuck is these days. I don't know if they would bring that in canon-wise. And I do think that the Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor are going to be canon. Because with the so Jedi Fallen Order was set 14 years before the Battle of Yavin. Jedi Survivor is supposed to be 5 years after, roughly. Right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So, the question is, you're talking about a game that is now just in line, and they just happened to release the trailer about the time that the Obi-Wan Kenobi series is released, and those timelines match up.
Okay.
So here's my general guesses as far as possibilities. I'm not saying any of them are more likely than the others. My first one is, yes, it's the guy from that was on Dathomir in Fallen Order.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would kind of contain it within that same continuity. Now, if they're wanting to expand that out beyond the continuity, just that the EA Jedi Fallen Order continuity, it could be Jorus Sabath. Because I have
the clone.
Yes, because I have heard that they are potentially bringing in some of that with the introduction of reintroduction of Thrawn into the Ahsoka series on Disney Plus. So that's a second possibility. That one's a little hazy. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not 100% confident on that. I will say I'm not 100% confident on that. But that's a possibility. If I were to place money down on who was in that Bacta tank, I would probably be actually putting my money down on that's Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Okay.
So we've already seen that in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, he's not on top of his game. He has given up the Jedi, the Jedi ideals. He has renounced him being a Jedi. He is not on top of his game. He is having a rough time fighting, using a lightsaber, period, or even really using the Force in anything other than a desperate situation. We've already seen Darth Vader hand Obi-Wan his ass once. So, my thought is, Obi-Wan gets fucking wrecked over the course of a few days to a few weeks by Darth Vader. What takes him from looking like Ewan McGregor to looking like Alec Guinness, being torn the fuck up and having to spend a lengthy time in a Bacta tank with not the purest of Bacta because it's early Rebellion era. So they're not necessarily getting the most pure Bacta. It's not healing him 100%. It's not maintaining it. So his hair is growing long. His hair is growing white. It's healing him kinda, sorta, but not 100%. Kind of like how Boba Fett had to take multiple turns in the Bacta tank. That's how they age Ewan McGregor into Alec Guinness, is he's having to spend so much time in the Bacta tank just to heal from his encounters with Darth Vader. And that introduces him into Jedi Survivor and connects that series into the full Star Wars canon.
Now, how many years after the first game is this supposed to take place? Because I
Five.
noticed that Cal...
About 5 years. So
Okay,
that
'cause
brings it up to 9 years BBY, which is where the Obi-Wan Kenobi series starts. Now, they haven't specified, oh yes, it's about 5 years.
Okay. Yeah, because I noticed Cal looked a lot older in the trailer.
Yeah. And I think that's what I think that's the because that's one thing that I haven't seen anybody be like, oh no, well, what if it's Obi-Wan? It's like nobody said anything about it. It's like, wait a second, because yeah, like I said, it's like, you know, you have to go from Ewan McGregor to Alec Guinness. Alec Guinness looked a hell of a lot older, even though Ewan McGregor is actually about the right age for that middle point. I think that's what we're looking at. I think we may be looking at the reason why Obi-Wan seems to age so much in 9 years is his body has been through absolute torment, and he is kind of like trying, you know, they use the Bacta tank to try and get him back together, but again, it's, you know, this is early rebellion era. They're not going to be able to, nobody really fully supports the rebellion enough to, you know, to siphon Empire materials and Empire goods to this rebellion.
Yeah.
That would be, if I was forced to put money down, that's where my money would be. That is Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Fair enough. I'm not even going to hazard a guess at who it is because.
Oh, come on! Come on!
I literally don't know. So that's why I'm.
I mean,
Just,
just
'cause
theory.
It could just be. It could just be a random.
I mean, come on! I've put out some fucking insane theories here. Come on! You can. I mean, you're
Well, the only one that I find makes sense out of all your theories is the Obi-Wan one. It holds the most ground. I don't understand. I don't see why they would bring back the guy from Dathomir. That doesn't make any sense to me. And I swear that Cal killed him anyway.
What actually
so that doesn't make sense to me.
What happened was Cal Kestis was actually having a difficulty defeating him, and one of the Night Sisters basically enveloped him in stone and dragged him down. So we don't know what happened after that. We don't know where he went. We don't know how any of that worked. So it's like, that's the reason why that one is, a lot of people are kind of going that way, is because it's like that was a completely, nobody knows how the witches of Dathomir work, how their force powers work, what their force powers do. So everybody's kind of like, fuck, we have no frame of reference for this. So I don't know.
I just figured that when he was dragged down into the concrete, I just figured he went into the lava below. That's what I figured happened. That they just tossed him into the lava and killed him.
I figured it was kind of like, it was basically like he was encased in the rock, and basically he would suffocate. So it's like, you know, he's just enveloped.
But he's a force user, right?
Huh?
The person got encased in the rock, force user, correct?
Yeah.
I'm going to say that he probably could have entered some kind of force trance type shit.
Oh God! If they introduce force hibernation, like what, like in the book, in the legends, what Luke uses to extend his flight capabilities, X-wing and stuff, like.
Yep.
Yes.
He did that in the Thrawn books.
Yes, he did. Ooh. Oh, see, I that was one of the actually you led me on to the research for this, Sin, as far as like they're potentially bringing in somebody like Mara Jade.
Yep. And
I wonder if that isn't Reva, because Reva is like kind of like a very important like force using Empire agent.
Yeah, she was the hand of the Emperor.
But yeah, but the Reva character is one of the Inquisitors that is like, she always kind of escapes the wrath of the rest of the Inquisitors when she goes out and beyond and around like the Grand Inquisitor and stuff. So she's kind of got, she almost kind of has this special quality, this. I kind of wonder if maybe that isn't kind of where they're going with things. And that was the reason why I was like, well, what if this isn't a Bacta tank so much as a cloning tank? And if this is a cloning tank, what if this is the clone of Jorus C'baoth? Not Jorus C'baoth, but Jorus C'baoth.
Yeah, but Jorus C'baoth, the original, when he was cloned, that was way before. I want to say timeline-wise, that would have actually been way before even the Clone Wars. If I remember correctly.
That was one of those. It's kind of questionable as to when he was cloned and when his clone was released.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of one of those questionable things, but with folding those ideals for those characters in,
true,
if they're bringing those into the current Star Wars canon of the shows and movies, they kind of got to play with things a little bit. And it very much looked like in the trailer, it very much looked like whatever this containment unit was in an abandoned facility. It was, the only thing that was giving off any kind of light, the only thing that was actually fully still intact was this tank. And I wonder, and that was one of the things that got me to wonder, and it's like, is it actually a Bacta tank or is it a cloning tank?
Yeah.
And we don't know for certain. It's very questionable. So it's like, ooh, well, there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of, I mean, we really don't, I mean, this is all hypothesis based on incredibly few details. I mean, I'm not entirely sure that even Sherlock Holmes would be like, oh, Sherlock Holmes would probably look at this and be like, no, there's not enough data to form a hypothesis.
You know what I would like to see? A movie based on the Starkiller character.
I would kind of, that would be, I honestly, I hope they do that at some point. I really do.
Well, I hope they do it for, I want to say is Sam Witwicky, or what the fuck is his name? The actor?
Oh,
yeah.
Shia LaBeouf?
No.
When you say Sam Witwicky, that was the character he played in Transformers.
No, he's talking about the voice actor Sam Witwer.
Okay.
Yeah, that's who it was. I couldn't think of his name.
All right. I was going to say, I'm like, Sam Witwicky was like, wait what? Really?
Yeah, he was also in Days. What the hell was that gamer?
The
good zombie game.
Oh, Days Gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's debatable. I can't stand Days Gone.
Really?
I have it, and I can't stand it. I think it's stupid. I don't like. Okay, here's my problem with Sam Witwer. I think he's a terrible voice actor, and I'll tell you why. My opinion. He is so fucking whiny in every role he does, and I cannot stand it. For the life of me, I cannot stand it. Like when he was Starkiller, whiny as hell. When he's playing as the guy in Days Gone, whiny as hell. Deacon, yeah, he's whiny as hell in that. Oh, my wife. It's like, oh my god, he just gets on my nerves. And then I've seen him in interviews, and he acts the same way there. It's like, oh fuck's sakes, man. He's just a whiny person.
I have to say something as far as voice actors and stuff. I just watched Taika Waititi's answering questions that answering Google searches video.
Yeah.
Can I just say the man has done fucking amazing work for always just being himself.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Maybe it's just the way the characters are written and the way the characters are incorporated in things. He even admitted it. He's like, I do very little fucking work. I don't change my voice for anything. It's just my voice. But he's played so many different characters that it's and with that same voice, that same speech pattern, that it's just like, how the fuck can he still keep getting work?
I think he's the director also.
Well, no, I mean, okay, Sid, we're talking about the droid in The Mandalorian. We're talking about Korg from the Thor series.
Yeah. Taika Waititi is also a director.
No, but all of these voices. So the droid from The Mandalorian, the IG droid from The Mandalorian, Korg, the evil boss in Free Guy, all of those voices, those are literally just him. He never changes his voice for any fucking character. But
I don't guess they're paid enough attention.
Exactly. How the fuck does he do so little fucking work as far as trying to do different things, but he's still just... How many of us noticed it? How many of us noticed that it's like, yes, he is literally just doing the exact same fucking voice for everything, but somehow he is still just like, he is still getting this. He is getting so much work for doing basically just talking normally. That, to me at least, is kind of mind-blowing, because it's like, I like I said, I never really realized that it's like, yes, it's the exact same voice, exact same speech pattern. He doesn't change anything. He doesn't try and change anything. But we don't question it. We don't question, well, why does Korg sound like the IG robot from The Mandalorian?
Yeah, I don't guess I remember the damn IG robot talking.
It really does. I mean, it kind of infuriates me, because it's like, no, nobody should be able to just be like, oh, I'm not gonna change my voice for whatever you fucking say. Piss off. And it's like, why do you still get work?
You know what other actor is like that a lot is Nolan North. Most of his voices, he doesn't change it.
Yeah.
There's the odd ones where he does, but most of the time it's just his regular voice.
But that's the thing with Taika Waititi. He doesn't change it. He's literally just he says it in the interview. He's like, I don't change my... I talk like this all the time. Nobody fucking cares. It's unique enough. I don't know if it's unique enough or it's different enough that people are just like, yeah, okay. It sounds it sounds exotic and different from everything else. So cool.
It sounds to me like they're just hiring him because of his voice. So it sounds to me like all the people who are hiring him, they are specifically hiring him because of his voice. And that does happen in the industry, especially in video games, where video game developers already have a specific person in mind or a specific sound of a voice they have in mind, and they look for somebody who has that voice naturally.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's just I like I said, it's one of those things where it's like I kind of wonder, personally, I kind of wonder if it isn't just there's just something unique about it. It's just different from everything else that's involved in the production, so that nobody questions it. Like you have this, you have the in the Mandalorian, you have all of these British, all these British sounding people, and then you have a New Zealand accent. You have this New Zealand voice, and it's just different enough that it's like, all right, nobody's gonna question it. And same thing in Thor, in the Thor movies. It's like you have all these different accents, but nobody else does a New Zealand accent, so it's different enough that everybody's just kind of like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It would be kind of like a Texas accent versus, putting a native Texan in Boston. Everybody else has this Boston, New England accent, and then you have somebody with a Texan accent, and it's like, okay, this is the odd man out. And if you make him look different, he is different. So that accent makes sense. That's about the only thing I can think of that is the reason for him being able to get away with this shit. Because it's like, dear God, that is... I mean, the man admits he is fucking lazy. He is lazy. He's just kind of like, yeah, all right. I mean, he's got great ideas, but he's lazy, and he's just kind of like, it's kind of a beautiful thing, really.
Yeah.
Now, I'm kind of wondering if we're gonna suddenly start hearing Caden just like breathing heavily and having fallen asleep again.
You shan't, because I muted my mic.
Oh, you've learned.
You shat on your mic. What?
No, I think there was one night that it was kind of just me and Caden, and I was going on a rant, and it was getting to the point where I'm like, all right, we're just gonna call it a night, and I called out to Caden a few times, like, all right, Caden, you got anything else to say? And it just says, you just hear this light breathing every so often. It's like, I'm pretty sure Caden fell asleep.
I'll admit, I had fallen asleep earlier.
That was vastly amusing to me, if not anybody else that watched. That was amazingly amusing to me.
I was sitting here earlier, I was like, oh hey, I'm still listening, and then all of a sudden I realized, like, I didn't know what the hell you were talking about. I was like, oh, I've been asleep for at least like 10 minutes.
Well, if there's nothing else, this at least calms the mind of the participants.
This is very true.
Which I gotta say, last week was really weird because, like, every single one of you was like, I need this. Are we doing this? I need this. Or afterwards, like, that was very therapeutic. It's like, okay.
This kind of stress relief sometimes for us, because, I mean, we don't have to focus. We just sit here and we just ramble and rant and rave.
Well, and for me, since I live out in the fucking sticks, well, I live like 10 miles outside of town, I don't know any of my neighbors, and I don't want to. The only person I have to talk to is occasionally my daughter or my dog, or work-related shit, and I don't really want to talk to those people because I have to be politically correct.
Yeah.
And besides, I gotta get all the time I can in soon, because remember, I'm starting that new job on Wednesday.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, on
What are you going to be doing?
I'm gonna be a kitchen manager.
Ooh, I'm sorry.
No, apparently it's not like a true kitchen manager. It's a kitchen manager at a homeless shelter, so it's more of just, hey, do you know what you're doing? Do you know not to stick your head in the microwave? Okay, we're good. I'm gonna go do some paperwork and scheduling. Don't screw anything up.
Well, you
But
have
it's gonna be Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 6. So yeah.
Ooh, 10 to 6. Like, are we talking like 10 in the morning to 6 in the afternoon? I'm assuming.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Might be.
I don't like people enough to do that. I commend you.
I mean, yeah, so yeah, I mean, so what you're saying is the silver tongue may not be around every time. It may be kind of hit and miss.
Probably like, pop my head in, but I'm probably not gonna stay up till 1 a.m.
What? No. Oh God, no.
I mean, the most fun part about this so far is going to be A, I've never done a manager position, so that's going to be an adventure, and B, I have to get like at least 6 certifications in order to hold this job down.
Oy.
So I'm sorry you have to manage people, because I've done that before, and I abso-fucking-lutely hate it. Because you have to talk to people respectfully instead of saying, why are you doing this? You're a fucking idiot. You can't talk to people like that. You get in trouble.
But you see, that's where I'm lucky, because my very first job was at a Chick-fil-A, so I learned, as we say, to tell you to go to hell in such a way that you will enjoy the trip. No, it's just, it's the certifications, because I got to get my ServSafe certification, obviously. But then I need my first aid, defib, what else was it? CPR. And then I have to get... They keep saying I need to get certified for it, but I don't see a state certification. But it's reporting if I see any signs of abusive families or anything. Then I need mental health, which I'm not sure if they mean counseling or what. And then I need to learn to get my Narcan. Are they having a narcotics overdose? And if so, I get to stab them with this very special needle.
Do you mean dagger?
Yeah, no, it's the opioid overdose counteractive drug.
I don't know. That's boring.
It did lead to the great thought while I'm in the interview. I was like, if I'm a kitchen manager and I ever have to actually use that certification, that's going to be an interesting day at work.
I'm pretty sure it's going to suck. It's going to be a suck day at work.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
What'd you do at work today? So, I had to stab some.
That sounds pretty cool.
Still here.
The void of silence.
Seems like, yeah, I know, right? It seems like everybody's just falling asleep. They've turned into Caden.
Oh, he's actually muted. Is he ending the stream?
Oh, he didn't say anything.
I have no idea.
Maybe he is. Let me check on, hang on, let me go on YouTube and find out.
Yeah, I unmuted. No. Apparently we're just sitting here rambling into the void.
That's fine.
Sorry, I had to go to the bathroom, so.
Oh, there we go.
We were concerned you ended the stream and didn't bother to tell us.
Yeah.
Oh, please. I always tell. I always tell.
You probably, well, you know, there could have been that, this could have been that one time where you're like, those fuckers are still babbling. I'm going to sleep.
Oh, no.
Let's see how long it takes them to realize.
No.
Ollamh's laying in bed going, dumbasses.
No. See, I have the mindset that would be like, oh God, they're gonna fucking hate me if I do that.
I kind of want to see that. I kind of want to see that happen though, just once.
Wow. I respect you guys. As much as that, as foolish as that may be, I do respect you.
I was about to say, why?
Because what other dumbasses are going to come on here Fridays and ramble pointlessly?
Right?
Is that really a point of respect, though?
Oh no, you have no idea how much this helps the channel out. Honestly. I mean, as of right now, we have okay, so concurrent viewers right now we have 4. We have a total of we've had a total of 11 viewers with an average duration of 1.5 hours.
Well, good. You'll probably get a few rewatches for tomorrow because I'll get on Second Life and talk to a few people.
Yeah, I usually send out the links to people and they're like, I'll watch in the morning.
So I mean, yeah, I mean, just with what we've had right now, that's 13. That's over 13 hours worth of watch time. That's
well, I've had a few of my subscribers end up subscribing to you only because at the end of every one of my stream, I promote both yours and Stu's channel.
Well,
I've always done that. That's how I end my streams.
I've seen Novus quite a bit.
Yeah.
Novus
He came over.
Yeah,
he came over
from
my channel. Yeah, he is. He's really nice. It's funny. So the latest guy, I might send him over to you actually. But the latest guy, he's from the Ukraine, and he's been watching me like my channel like nonstop. He watches like all my streams. And he asked me the one time when I was streaming, he's like, "What do you guys think of the Ukraine?" And I guess he thought that my answer was going to be, "Oh, I hate them" or something, because I'm like, I got no problems with Ukraine. My problems are with Russia and what they're doing in Ukraine.
Yeah.
And he was just so shocked when I said that. He was like, "Really? I thought that all Canadians hated the Ukraine." I'm like, "What? No." Like, no, not at all.
I'm very fond of Eastern European women.
Well, I mean, I don't think that's what he meant, but yeah, okay.
Well, that would be the answer I would have given him.
Okay. And then he would have been like, "I'm not a woman."
Well, I just...
Not saying he's a woman, but you know, it's just that general, you know, yeah, you know, no. I think a lot of people are wondering how much the general population has taken in certain propaganda, if you will.
And then I would ask him if he knows the ghost of Kiev.
Yeah, that's, ooh, man, that is, I'm sorry, that person is just,
The ghost of Kiev is a Ukrainian fighter pilot.
Yes, I know. That's the person that Tom Cruise wishes he was.
Yep.
I mean, let's face it. With the new Maverick, you know, with the new Top Gun movie, it's like, come on, That's who Tom Cruise wishes he was. See, no matter whether somebody knew the Ghost of Kiev or not, it's like they would never admit to it. They'd be like,
Oh, of course not. I wouldn't expect them yet to.
Can't say anything. All right. Speaking of ending the stream, actually, we probably should before long.
You know, somebody actually, sorry to interrupt, somebody actually brought that up when he was in the chat. So Stu brought that up when that Ukraine guy was in the chat, because I was saying, how are things over there? And Stu said, oh, he's not allowed to talk about that. He can get arrested or something like that. And then the guy corrected Stu and said, no, we can actually talk about that. We just can't talk about where the bombs hit or anything like that.
Yeah.
But they're allowed to talk about what's going on. They just can't bring up.
Yeah. Specifics are kind of a no-no. Because it's the idea of, you
could be used to triangulate more data and find more places to bomb if they miss something.
Exactly.
True. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like, all right, we're not allowed to talk about specifics, but yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, I can't imagine that shit. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. No, I feel sorry for every single one of them over there. It's just so stupid. It's like, it's just a stupid battle. Like, it's just dumb.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I'll let you end your stream.
No, I was just gonna say, as far as ending the stream, we should probably do that because it is late.
Yeah.
So, as always, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you guys hanging out and talking all kinds of weird shit and just, all the.
You know what I appreciate? Maple
breath.
Syrup.
Oh,
thanks. Yes.
I was gonna say.
I wasn't talking about you, damn it. Just because you're Canadian, you big-headed shit. Don't be so goddamn arrogant. There's Vermont has maple syrup too, damn it.
There's this, and we know and love, or we know at least.
Hey, I have Jewish maple syrup because the bottle's in Hebrew.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I fucking no idea where my daughter bought some stuff. She's like, it's got this funny writing on it. And I'm like, that's Hebrew, or whatever it's called. I mean, that's Israeli writing.
Yeah.
From Israel.
That moment when you have it correct and then decide to, oh no, that's offensive. I should totally change that.
Yeah. No, you had it right. All right. But yeah, I mean, there are. I mean, I do have people that I am able to talk about all this weird shit with, but not a lot of people that are willing to come on live and talk about this with other people listening and shit. It's like,
willing? You mean like me and gamers who are sitting here almost every Thursday and Friday? Like, hey, are we streaming?
Right? It's like, yes, we're. Yes.
I would want to do this more times a week.
Yeah. Same.
I could really use the venting.
I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can handle that.
I mean, your liver. You don't know if your liver could handle it.
You know what? We'll just branch it off. We'll each have like a little mini series where we can just go throughout the week, and we'll just vent and bitch.
That would be that. I will have to put some thought into that, because that's not a horrible idea. I mean, well, okay, it's probably a horrible idea, but I mean,
you're probably right. It is probably a horrible idea.
But I mean, there's each of you has very specific things that you really want to talk about, and we don't necessarily get around to them, or the topic doesn't necessarily come up. Yeah. I will put some thought into that as to how to work that. I mean, the one
I
thing,
mean, we have a Pirates channel. We can always just discuss it, go over things.
yeah. I mean,
We'll spitball.
and I will say this: there's nothing saying that this has to be exclusive to my channel.
Well, that's what I was about to say. It's Pirates of the Geek Vortex, and at least 3 of us have channels.
Yeah, it's like, no, I really have no problems if you guys want to create like an offshoot of this for your channels and be like, hey, you know, this is very similar. I mean, you know.
I mean, hell, we can even, you know, have it to where each one of us happens to pilot our own little craft.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's, you know,
I
there's.
don't need a craft. I have a space motorcycle.
I actually tried a podcast the other night and it went horribly, so I just deleted it off my channel. I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll just stick to playing games.
I mean, a lot of the problems I had with starting my own podcast is that I could never find anybody that would do it with me, and now we have a whole crew.
Yeah.
For me, I got my boyfriend, but the problem is that I couldn't find non-licensed music to use, and the stuff that I did find that claimed wasn't licensed turned out to be licensed, and then
Oh.
it just became a mess from there.
Ollamh can tell you where to find it because he likes to pitch this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There are a few different places that I would recommend. If you're looking for licensed royalty-free but licensed music, if you have $15 a month, there's Epidemic Sound. That's where I get that's where all the music that I play for my channel comes from. They have a ginormous, just an immense library of so many different styles and stuff like that. And you can actually search through various things like that. Other than that, I would say look at the Incompetech. Here, let me.
That's just funny sounding. It's like I started my own company, Incompetech.
It is.
It is my company? Damn.
Let me get the actual website here, and I'll pop it into the Pirates Crew. So Incompetech it's Kevin MacLeod. They do, I mean, the guy has like tons of different, you know, a lot of different styles and stuff like that. Most of which is, you know, if you put it in your description or something like that, a link to that, attribute them, they're cool with it. So it's like, yeah, you don't really need to pay anything. It's most of it is if you attribute him as far as, you know, hey, music from this website, you're cool. There are, you know, of course, you know, there is the YouTube music library, which is a combination, which is their audio library is very tricky because some of it requires attribution. Basically, you have to say it's by this person, you know, this is this song by this person type of thing. Some of it isn't.
If you're going to use the YouTube music library, my advice would be go for anything by Silent Partner because they make very good tracks and they are no attribution needed.
Yeah, you can actually, I think you can actually say, yes, you can look at the music and you can actually search by attribution not required. So those are all things that you don't have to say, you know, you don't have to basically plug the person who create. You don't have to. You can if you want to. But yeah, you don't have to say, hey, this is this song by this person type of thing.
And hey, who knows? Once I get some money, if I can find a doll that I don't get lost and frustrated and end up throwing across the room, I might start making music.
You do that, and oh my God, you do that. Yeah, that would be like, oh no, I will totally pimp your shit out.
Well, this is a lot of the other reasons that, like, my videos never get made, is because I'm sitting here like, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. And then my OCD brain, we've mentioned it, I'm a wee bit OCD. I'm just like, I need to do all this myself so I know it's done right.
Trust me, I know exactly what you mean on that. There's a lot of stuff that it's like, well, I mean, that's why I've been going through a lot of the production crate models and like retexturing them, because it's like most of them, the textures are great. Don't get me wrong, the textures on the original models are great, but they are very limited as far as adaptability, and I hate that. I want to be able to take the hover car and make it, Vault-Tec, make it Altera, make it, a Fett Arms or whatever other company that I can think of. I want to be able to personalize those to specific organizations. So it's like, if you have a scene where there's like 3 different hover cars, you don't want all the hover cars looking the same. Nobody's gonna. How many times do you see the exact same 3 of the exact same cars on the exact same stretch of 1 or 2 block, streets? It's like it doesn't happen. But yeah, trust me, I get the idea of, no, I want to do this all myself because I have control. I know I can do it right, type of thing. That's one of the struggles I've always had as far as collaborating, because it's like, can I trust this person? Can I really trust this person or that person? It's like, I don't know. That's why I love stuff like this, because none of it's planned. None of this is planned. None of it's all off the cuff, and I can say, you know what? I don't have control, and that's okay.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I mean that, and I trust you guys. The few caveats, the few rules that I put in place for this, I trust you guys to be like, okay, yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, of course. Makes sense.
Even Sin.
I was like, you're doing good. Call out.
No. I gotta give Sin hell. Sin has given me so much hell over the years. I gotta give it back when I can.
I'm not complaining.
I was just waiting for it. I was like, wait for it.
Sin isn't gonna complain. Sin's a good person. Sin is a good person.
I mean, I think at this point we're all just used to it. We all give each other shit.
Pretty much, yeah. All right, so with that said, that is where we're going to end for tonight. So as always, guys, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate the input. I appreciate the conversation. This is a great way to end the week.
For sure.
All right, so
you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you guys soon.
Have fun.
Right.
Are you mailing out eyeballs?
Mailing out eyeballs?
What?
He's going to see us.
No, that's a spy cam he installed in your bathroom.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
That's a little weird.
But only a little weird compared to some of the stuff that several of us have experienced together. All right, I'm going to do my outro now.
That's even weirder.
I'm going to do my outro now, so. as always, thank you guys very much for watching, whether you're listening, as the case may be. Whether you're listening now or later, it's greatly appreciated. Every single view counts. If you like the video, don't forget to press the like button. If you're new here, don't forget to press the subscribe button. If you want to be kept up to date of when we go live, when we upload new videos and stuff like that, ring the bell, but also check out the social media links down below. The Facebook page, the Twitter account. If you want to join in on conversations and stuff like that, there is a permanent invite to the Discord channel down below, where you can click on that and join in all kinds of bizarre, strange, and insane conversations that we have on our Discord channel, and believe me, they get kind of crazy. All of that so that you can stay tuned for more Framolove Productions. Cheerio!